not to mention all the violence from foreign criminals. But President Trump needs to take one more step if he wants to maximize his problem-solving legacy. He should implore Congress to pass a tough but compassionate new immigration law. It is long overdue because both parties exploit the undocumented migrant situation. Meantime, any serious effort to protect the country from harm has been neglected. Here's what a new law might contain: increased green cards, working papers, for specific industries like agriculture and hospitality. Corporations would be totally responsible for the healthcare and other needs of immigrants. All undocumented people already here would have to register with the Department of Homeland Security within 90 days. Their situations would then be reviewed by immigration judges online. Humane visas would be issued to folks who deserve them. If you do not register, immediate deportation. Finally, a well-defined pathway for foreigners who want to become American citizens. Part of that would be military or civilian public service. If President Trump would champion those things, pressure would be enormous for Congress to finally honor the true legacy of the country: fairness and compassion. Back after this. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked your home title? Scammers are targeting your equity with just a single forged document they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot, up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Missouri is among the leaders in the pro-life movement right now. And I know that sounds like a grandiose statement, but it really is true, with Attorney General Andrew Bailey suing Planned Parenthood over their claims about the chemical abortion pill. Well, that's a big deal. And the national pro-life movement is watching what happens here very, very closely. We're actually going to talk to the Attorney General. Andrew Bailey is going to be with us right around 7:35. You don't want to miss that. Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Mike Ferguson here, of course, as always. Appreciate you being along for the ride. We had a pretty interesting conversation with Congressman Bob Onder yesterday. Among the things we talked about were obviously the president talking about giving us rebate checks from the tariffs being collected. We'll get to that in just a second. But also Congressman Onder being one of those calling for redistricting in Missouri. Nobody in the studio here is really quite on board yet on that. We haven't been sold on that. So to the congressman's credit, as he always does, he took the difficult questions, the pointed questions. And here's how that conversation went.
Let me start off with the idea. I don't think it's a written proposal yet, but the president's talking about it. Senator Josh Hawley's talking about it, talking about the possibility of rebate checks from all the tariff money that's being collected. Let me just frame my question in a biased way. And let me put it out there. We've got $37 trillion in debt hanging over the economy. Would any sort of rebate be a good idea right now? What's your take on that? And I apologize in advance for asking it in a framed, biased way, but that's just, to me, seems to be the elephant in the room.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It is great to be back. The president over the weekend, what he said is, quote, the big thing we want to do is pay down the debt, but a tariff rebate would be a nice thing. So, the president isn't out and out, calling for rebates yet. I think the way you framed the question is exactly right. It's not like we are running big budget surpluses and we're going to give back some of the money in the form of rebate checks. The fact is, this is money we don't have. We don't have the money for the rebate checks. Last year, we took in $5 trillion in revenue and we spent $7 trillion. And the big, beautiful bill had a lot of merits. And one of those was a middle class and working class tax relief, no tax on tip, no tax on overtime, tax cuts for seniors. So at this point, I don't think that sending out another round of stimulus checks like we did 3 times during COVID is really the right approach.
Good morning, Gabe here, and I got to ask you about the redistricting, right? Because that's become a big story.
Let me add one more thing about
Sure.
about tariffs.
Sure.
Really the best relief we can give middle class and working class Americans is to get serious about our deficit and our debt and get rid of that hidden tax known as inflation. And that's where I believe we should be concentrating.
Absolutely.
By the way, for whatever it's worth, I think that is 100% the right answer.
Same.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Now on this redistricting thing, we've got calls by the president, obviously, saying, hey, can we get another representative out of Missouri? And of course, that would require a mid-decade special session to redraw the districts. A lot of people are crying foul on gerrymandering. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's easy to get the impression, and this is not entirely media bias because it is kind of unusual that we would draw districts mid-cycle, but people had the impression that somehow Donald Trump is starting this by talking about redistricting in Texas and elsewhere, including Missouri. But you've got to back up a little bit. Back in 2017, after Trump took office and Obama left, Eric Holder, Obama's former Attorney General, formed the National Democrat Redistricting Committee. And ever since then, he has been extraordinarily active and extraordinarily successful at drawing lines that favor Democrats in congressional races. In fact, he goes so far as to play in state rep and state Senate races in order to make sure that when maps get drawn, they favor Democrats. So remember in 2022, when we expected a big red wave in the Biden off-year election, and it never really happened. We Republicans had just barely a majority in Congress after that election. It was by and large because Eric Holder and the Democrats were being very aggressive about redistricting. Look at New York, at Maryland, at California, or right across the river to Illinois, and look at how aggressively they drew maps. While they were playing hardball, we were playing patty cake, and President Trump is just saying, look, control of Congress, control of the last 2 years of his administration, control of power, whether we continue to do rescission bills and reconciliation bills and keep taxes low and secure the border, or whether we have 2 years of Donald Trump impeachment hearings, all ride on control of Congress. So Missouri should have drawn a 7-1 map in 2022. Back when I was in the Senate, I advocated for it very strenuously, as did Nick Shore in the House. We should have done it then. I think now we should do it.
So the concept is less about Missouri in and of itself, but more about the national strategy then.
Well, that's a big part of it. Yeah. There's no question. In Missouri, it's going to be tricky because to draw another district in Kansas City, some of our Republican, congressional seats will get a little bit less Republican. I think that's one reason why we didn't have very good support of the congressional delegation for a 7-1 map in 2022. But we do have a different delegation now, and we have President Trump's leadership in doing this. But Nick and I thought it was was the right thing to do in 2022, and I continue to think so. It took me a little bit by surprise, but there's no question that the Trump's team is seriously looking at this.
Yeah, so when you look at like what you described in New York and Illinois, because Illinois' congressional maps look like you dumped a bowl of linguine on the ground and called those congressional districts. That's what it looks like. Whether it's Democrats doing it there, Republicans doing it in Texas or Missouri, are at some point, do we worry about the basis of politicians and political parties picking their voters as opposed to voters selecting their representatives?
Yeah, well, this idea of drawing districts with partisan ends in mind, we sometimes call that gerrymandering. That dates back to a map that Governor Elbridge Gerry, one of our founding fathers, drew in 1812. And the Supreme Court's recognized in 2019 and 2024, among other times, that fundamentally drawing congressional maps or any legislative maps will be a political process. Too many times, I think, when in the pursuit of, quote, fair, remember clean Missouri, a way to draw fairer state rep and state Senate districts. No, it was a way for Democrats to draw Democrat favored state rep and state Senate districts. So politics has always been part of this map drawing process and always will be. The question is, the Democrats play hardball. Are we Republicans going to do the same? Look, we have every statewide elected office in Missouri. We have Republican supermajorities in the House and in the Senate in Missouri, and yet, for reasons unknown to me, we still send two progressive Democrats to Washington. The congressman from Kansas City, he's a nice guy. I like him personally, but he votes the very same way as AOC or Hakeem Jeffries or Jasmine Crockett. I think it's time to shore up a America First majority in Congress.
Bob, in the last minute or so we've got, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask where we are on the Epstein thing. I'm still going to be pushing on this thing, and it sounded like based on our last conversation, you are too. So where are you? What's the status?
Yeah. So, we are on our district work period right now, but the last thing big that happened there, last couple of big things, is that the House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the Epstein files, as well as a lot of other, just say persons of interest that are probably involved in the Epstein scandal. And now the Trump administration has called for the release of grand jury evidence in New York and in Florida. A judge in Florida blocked that. Generally speaking, grand jury proceedings are, for good reason, secret. So we'll see whether anything comes out of that. But hey, I hope the Oversight Committee is successful in getting the Epstein files. There's no reason why they shouldn't. Minus redactions to protect witnesses. Sure. Mm-hmm. To protect victims. We need to relay the Epstein files. The Epstein scandals go to the very question of whether the rich and the powerful, the well-connected, are somehow above the law. The American people resoundingly said no to that. The Epstein files need to be released.
All right, got some thoughts on that reaction. How do you feel when you hear his answers to everything from Epstein to the redistricting to those possible tariff rebate checks, which I don't know are going to happen. Maybe we'll see. Let me know. 314-912-1019. Or don't forget, you can go to the NewsTalk STL app and make sure it's updated. It's free. And you can actually send us a voicemail and send us a message through that app. So check it out. All right, this is 1019 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
Talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
1019 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. 800-631-2030. That's 800-631-2030.
Why leave your company's story to chance? In today's digital world, video content isn't just an option. It's essential for your success. At Blue Ocean Media Group, we've spent decades crafting compelling visual stories for businesses just like yours. From concept to completion, our award-winning team transforms your vision into powerful video content that connects with your audience and drives results. Don't trust your brand to amateurs. Partner with Blue Ocean Media Group. Visit blueoceanmediagroup.com today, and let's bring your story to life.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, he may have won the vote, but he might not get away with breaking the law to do so.
Oh?
Oh, yes.
Sounds like you got something good to tell us.
I'm a happy guy right now. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition. I don't know if we're going to say, but Sam Page under criminal investigation right now.
Woo!
I love it. Love it. All right. It is 5:47 right now. So I want to get into this in a little more depth in the news dump. Okay. And then I think at 6:35, we'll kind of do a deep dive. Let's let everybody get a little bit of coffee and get going here. And I want Gabe to be in here for this as well. But here's what's going on. Here are the basics. Sam Page under criminal investigation. Now, this goes back to the Prop B campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. So Prop B, as you remember, was put on the ballot in St. Louis County. And had voters approved it, now voters rejected it, but had voters approved it, it would have changed the county charter to allow the county council to fire executives with a super majority and if they could show cause. Okay. So it was a check and balance. It was aimed at just some of it really was aimed at the Page administration because he was picking lousy people. We've had a history of problems with him. And because of Page's just abuse of his office that continues to this day. Well, he sent out, and here's the thing is I think I can objectively say this, even if I were still a journalist, and I don't pretend to be a journalist anymore. That's not my role anymore. But even if I were a journalist, I think you could objectively say he clearly violated Missouri law.
Yeah, and we had people send in photos that they have of the actual mailers, and it looks like exactly what you were talking about at that time.
Yeah, because it was like paid for by St. Louis County's government, the executive, and the Missouri law is explicit that you cannot do that. So I don't think there's any question that he violated the law. Here's the thing. He's not the only one who's done that.
Yeah.
Every library district does that. Every school district does it. Now, they are a little more nuanced, but they all break the law when it comes to campaign finances. It happens all the time. It pisses me off. I've been that guy who has filed complaints over that sort of thing. Most of the time, what happens is somebody gets a letter saying you're not supposed to do that or be more careful. And that's all that happens. That's not what happened here. So what's happened is there were multiple complaints filed because we were encouraging people, please go on and file complaints. You can do it online. This went to the Ethics Commission. This went to Secretary of State's office. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins' office investigated and then referred it to the Attorney General's office for criminal investigation. So Denny Hoskins did his job on this. The Attorney General's office has now launched a criminal investigation according to KMOV.
Get him.
Yes. So KMOV is reporting that the Highway Patrol showed up at
Sam Page's office looking for documentation, looking for evidence.
Oh,
okay. So a couple things. One, I think everybody knows that the Attorney General is going to be on the show here today. This is an active criminal investigation. He can't talk about this.
yeah.
But you know who can?
Who?
Dennis Hancock, who is
Oh.
on the county council, rather. He's going to be with us at 6:35. He can say whatever he wants on this. So what's going to be interesting is to see whether or not justice is meted out in this case. So more details coming your way in the news dump in 12 minutes or whatever. And then 6:35, I want to go into this. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. 314-912-1019, because this could be a big deal. I have been waiting for years. It's not just because I can't stand Sam Page because of his abuse of people. And that's what I want people to understand. It's not that Sam Page is a Democrat and I'm not. It's not that Sam Page is a leftist and I'm a conservative. That's not why I dislike Sam Page. I dislike Sam Page because of his abuse of people, because of the way that he has abused his office and hurt people, because of his authoritarianism that violated everybody's First Amendment rights, that violated everybody's right to commerce and economy. That's why I don't like him, and his arrogance and his refusal to change. I mean, even after all the COVID stuff. Sorry, got a little coffee down my throat.
Get a little emotional there.
A little more in the windpipe. So here's the thing: is that his arrogance, and his authoritarianism, and seeing what he has done to people, small businesses, school kids, anybody who goes to church or a house of worship, and he took it upon himself to say, "You're not allowed to go because I said so." Now, unfortunately, majority of churches in St. Louis County were cowards.
Yeah.
I'll just call it out. Be mad at me if you want, but that's what happened. You should have said, "No, we disobeyed." That's what you should have done. If you are a Christian, that's what your faith demanded, and most of you didn't do it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said it.
Unfortunately.
I said it.
It's not just limited to churches either, unfortunately.
Right.
That's a big thing about our modern day cultures. We're not willing to put our foot down. But yeah, you've been extremely fair to our Democratic opposition when they behave the way you're supposed to behave in office. And I think that this is not you recklessly going after somebody, but there's a lot of legitimate reason to be in support of an investigation into Sam Page.
Well, the fact matter is he broke the law.
Absolutely.
There's no question he broke the law. The question comes down to what are they going to do about it? And we're not going to know for a while. But the fact that investigation is happening, I think, is a very, very good thing. All right. 5:53 right now. So once again, I want to go because this is a bigger deal, I think, what a lot of people realize here. Okay, so just to be intellectually consistent, now that I've gone after a leftist, I'm frustrated. I am disappointed in a lot of conservative media right now.
Same here.
Okay. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
You know where this is going. Okay. And I'm talking about the coverage of the Epstein stuff. I'm not going to rehash the whole Epstein files at this point, because the reality is we have some new things that are happening, which, I'll tell you about here. It'll take all of a couple minutes. But once word got out that the White House was basically taking conservative media to the woodshed, or trying to seduce them otherwise, saying, stop talking about this, most conservative media has done exactly what they were told by the politicians in power. What have we been complaining about for the last 4 years with all of the left-wing media carrying the water for the people in power? Why is that any different if the people in power are on our side? Media is not supposed to carry the water.
Amen.
Yeah. So I was looking last night and today because there's some new information, potentially big stuff here.
Yeah.
President Trump being asked about a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell because those rumors that we told you about 3-4 days ago, something like that, Now they're getting reported because he's being asked about it by reporters and he's talking his way around it. He won't say no. That doesn't mean that he's going to pardon her. Doesn't mean he's thinking about doing a pardon, but he refuses to rule it out. He goes, it's inappropriate to even talk about. What's not inappropriate is if the answer was no.
Yeah.
And so not one single article covering this on Town Hall's website. Not one on Hot Air, which is actually owned by Town Hall. There's one article that popped up overnight on Red State, but that's basically Trump didn't do nothing. But that's even more than they've done recently. So basically, a lot of our friends in conservative media, and this is why I'm not invited to the cool kids parties, because I just want to call balls and strikes. Is that conservative media has basically said, "Oh, yes, sir, Mr. President, we will do what you tell us to do. We will cover the news the way you want us to cover the news." That's wrong.
Yes.
Okay. I will give credit where credit is due. Newsmax, story after story after story after story, just like with everything else. Fox News covering it. Newsmax not letting go of this.
Which is actually a little surprising that Newsmax of all people, because they're one of the big advertising things was it was President Trump's favorite news source,
right? And
they've actually done I'm actually very impressed with them.
Very balanced.
Yeah.
They've done an excellent job keeping on this. Have they been bashing Trump? No, they've been reporting things as they came in.
Yeah.
And so I give credit where credit's due on that. But I also want us on the right, on the, whether it's conservative, libertarianism, MAGA, whatever. I hope that we continue to put pressure on our own media to say, do not become a mouthpiece for our side the way that the mainstream media is a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep our side doing the right thing. If this is about moving the country in the right direction, if this is about reclaiming our freedoms, if this is about reclaiming our economy, if this is about reclaiming our culture, our morality, then don't sit around and wait to be told what to do by any politician. If the politician or politicians get it right, then you support them, and that's the role that we've got. But you don't take orders from those in power.
Yeah, what happened to facts don't care about your feelings nor your allegiances. Facts are true regardless if you want to accept them or not. I mean,
exactly. And then what happens, like, for instance, we just played that conversation we had with Bob Onder a little bit ago. Bob and I agree on most things. We disagree on a couple things. But you know what? We have an honest discussion and conversation. I respect Bob like crazy because of this. But Bob answers whatever questions come away. We need to expect more from our side, and I'm disappointed in so much conservative media that will not hold ourselves to that standard.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
The one and only Karen Catalina.
That's not always a bad thing not to be a mensch.
Oh.
Sometimes you're a little bit of a rabble-rouser. It depends.
Yeah,
you are a mensch. You're a mensch, but,
I think you can be.
Because he's a mensch.
Because I'm a mensch, okay?
2 Jews, 3 opinions. It depends.
All right.
So a mensch is a gentleman, to be a gentleman.
That's me, then. Come on.
Yeah, that's him, Karen.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-439-7851. 800-439-7851. 800-439-7851. That's 800-439-7851.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. He had a documented history of mental health issues. That's how New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch describes a gunman walked into a midtown Manhattan skyscraper last evening and started shooting.
4 innocent victims are dead. Among them, NYPD police officer Dinarul Islam, 36 years old, 4 years on the job. Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys. His wife is pregnant with their 3rd child.
Tisch says a gunman, Shane Chamorro of Las Vegas, took his own life following the attack. She says he targeted a building that houses big money investment firms as well as the headquarters of the NFL. Forecasters say more high temperature records could be set today in some of the big cities of the East Coast. This is a stubborn heat wave holds a vast part of the country in its grip from the Gulf Coast up to New England. Full speed ahead for Alligator Alcatraz, Florida's holding center for criminal illegal aliens pending deportation.
This was basically just an airport there, and within record time, they've built this.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
And now you've had hundreds of illegal aliens that have been flown out of there for deport. So that is underway. We hope that the cadence picks up.
A group of immigration attorneys, though, has filed a class action lawsuit against Alligator Alcatraz. 2 children have died, 2 others hospitalized in critical condition. This after their sailboat and a barge collided near Miami. Coast Guard says it's investigating the deadly accident. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory so far. The Dow futures up 29 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 111 points, and the S&P futures better by 18. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot, up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This will be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for my good friend Harry Parker and the ultimate seafood dining experience at Gulf Shores, GulfShoresRestaurantandGrill.com. Gulf Shores offering a unique dining experience with a vast, mouth-watering menu of all of your favorite delicious dishes, something for everyone's taste or palate. 3 convenient locations, Edwardville, Creve Coeur, and St. Peter's. Dine in, carry out. They've got a food truck, too. Friendly staff, looking forward to seeing you, making your dining experience one you will remember. Gulf Shores, RestaurantandGrill.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
Isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country?
How the mayors in these sanctuary jurisdictions are dealing with it, that's interesting.
Safety is our primary concern.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Here we go again. These people are crazy.
Gabe Phifer.
A charitable interpretation for this kind of behavior does not exist.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
We're a different kind of clown show.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, justice for Sam Page. We can only hope, but it might happen. If you're watching on camera right now, this is my giddy dance. All right, who's in charge of how comfortable your house is today?
That's a really good question.
We've already got lunch lady and a couple. We've already got people talking about this on social media. This because you and I warned people about this.
Yeah, we were like, don't do it
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into that here in just a minute, and then we're going to go into more depth on that because this is a bigger picture than even just today. And Cardinals fans are among those paying tribute to a longtime opponent who competed against the Cardinals with a lot of class over the years. I'm actually really sad about this. It is 6:06. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Common Sense Rentals.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
You know, I mean, they got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Okay, 6:35. We're going to go into more depth on this with County Councilman Dennis Hancock. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is under a criminal investigation by the Missouri Attorney General's office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's according to KMOV, which is reporting that the investigation stems from Page's use of taxpayer money to campaign against Proposition B last year.
Oh, right. Yeah, we were talking about this.
Yep. After complaints were filed against Page, the Secretary of State's office referred the case to the Attorney General. Page authorized a campaign postcard opposing the ballot measure. It clearly stated that it was paid for with taxpayer funds. Missouri law explicitly bans any use of taxpayer funds in campaigns. So I want to go into more depth with this with Dennis Hancock, but Gabe, there's no question he broke the law.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not debatable.
We noted it when it happened. We were like, hey, I got a card. And we had been talking about that type of campaigning ages before that.
Right. And it was an overt breaking of the law. So the question is, will he be held criminally liable for knowingly breaking the law?
Right. That's a big deal.
Right. So we're going to find out in the days and months to come. I think everybody knows the Attorney General is going to be on the show with us today. Let me just remind everybody, this is an active criminal investigation.
Criminal in particular. Yeah,
he can't comment.
He can't comment on that, guys.
I'm not going to put him in that position.
Yeah.
But Dennis Hancock can say whatever he wants.
Sure can.
So we're going to have that conversation at 6:35. All right. Senator Josh Hawley files legislation that would, if approved, send checks to working Americans with the funds coming from the money collected through the tariffs.
We're actually doing this.
We're there. Yeah. This is the follow-up to what we talked about yesterday. Hawley's bill calls for $600 to be sent to every adult and then another $600 for any dependent children, every dependent child. So this is styled after the stimulus, even though technically it's not a stimulus.
Right.
So he calls it the American Worker Rebate Act, and the check amounts would be reduced by 5% if the taxpayer's gross income is over $75,000 or for an individual or $150,000 in a joint return. The U.S. national debt, by the way, is currently estimated at $36.71 trillion. But we're going to be sending out populist checks.
We don't have the money for this.
Yeah. We have a better use for that money.
Absolutely.
Paying off that debt so that we save some kind of opportunity for our kids and grandkids. Just saying here. All right. Let's see here. Another lawsuit. You know, this is happening here. California continuing to challenge Donald Trump in court. They filed another lawsuit that accuses the Trump administration of amassing personal information from SNAP recipients, what used to be known as food stamps. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says it violates multiple federal privacy laws and the information is being used for unrelated purposes. That's at least his claim.
You don't promise to help someone eat, then punish them for sitting at the table. And California won't comply.
Okay, so you may say, well, what is going on with this?
Yeah, what are they talking about?
So Letitia James, is also involved in this. And here's part of what she had to say in that press conference.
They are basically trying to weaponize the SNAP program against immigrant communities.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they're looking for the illegals on SNAP?
Yes. Yeah, that's what the accusation is that they're using that data to find people who are in the country illegally.
That's a legitimate use of that data.
You would think so.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, spending cuts to SNAP, as proposed by the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, is looking to save money by getting rid of benefits for non-U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
So if you're not a citizen, you're not supposed to be getting the federally funded welfare benefits.
That's actually in the legislation, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And of course, that bill would also shift some of the cost to states who are administering SNAP as well. So that's what they're complaining about there.
Oh, gosh. That's amazing. It's like, hey, you can't do that. You can't try to, enforce the law with the information you have as a government.
Yeah. So that information is to access money that taxpayers are losing through taxes, but you can't put a firewall up to make sure that only Americans and those in the country legally are getting it.
I remember when Democrats were saying no illegals are on any of these programs to begin with. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pepperidge Farms, remember.
Yeah, good times. Good times back then. Good times. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're going to talk about this in more depth here. It's the 620. Okay. Because you and I were talking about this. Gosh, it's probably been 2 or 3 years ago. We're like,
years.
Someday this is going to happen.
Yes.
Well, someday is today. Okay, Ameren will be taking control of tens of thousands of home thermostats today around the St. Louis area.
That sounds so dystopian and scary.
But that's
to me.
what's happening. Okay, so the company says 51,000 customers who are part of the peak time savings event will have their energy usage reduced between 3 and 6 p.m. in order to reduce the overall demand on the grid. The company is asking residents to not go in and adjust their thermostats at that time. Now, these are the people who have enrolled in this program. So more in depth on that here at about 6:20 or so. But after those peak hours, the company will graciously return the thermostats back to normal and whatever that normal setting is by the customer. So today is going to be a ridiculously hot day. I think the meteorological term is stupid hot.
Stupid hot, yeah.
I think dangerous hot at the very least. And at those peak times, the hottest part of the day, Ameren's going to take control and increase the thermostat on 51,000 people's home and say, please don't touch it. We'll let you resume control after 6 o'clock.
Any indication of what temperature they're going to be going for there?
No, they didn't say.
Because we're, we already keep our homes at, British heat wave level, temperature. I'm just curious.
Yeah, that just sounds dystopian. I mean,
Right.
if that's what they're able to do, I'm never having a smart home.
Well,
absolutely.
And that's what a lot of people were warning about. And Ameren paid people to enroll in this.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was for a discount. I think it was in exchange for a discount.
Well, it was a bonus, and then they give you a little bit of money every year for staying enrolled in it.
Right.
So, as far as what temperature, probably depends on how much the demand is on the grid today.
True.
That's probably all right. 613 here. This is interesting, Gabe. I'm curious what you're going to think about this in particular. The Pew Research Center has been asking Americans about religious faith, and what they're saying might surprise a lot of people. Here's the story.
The latest poll finds a lot of us still identify as Christians. 41% say they are Protestants. However, the next largest faith group is those who have no faith. Atheists, agnostics, and followers of no particular religion now account for 28% of the U.S. population. Rounding out the rest of the nation are Catholics at 19% and all other religions at 10%. People of no faith remain the fastest growing group in the United States. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
Yeah, I mean, it's following the trend that I've been kind of watching for decades now, a reduction in Christian faith across the board. And I would even go so far as to challenge that 28% number. I think that's too high. I think there are people who identify as Christian,
right,
but they're not actually Christians.
Because
there's a poll, I guess, if you wanted to kind of combine your polls from, and I'm trying to remember what the organization was, but it's a Christian organization, and they actually ask worldview question to determine whether or not you actually line up with the Christian faith. And there are a lot of people and a lot of churches that don't actually align with, they call themselves Christian, but they're not actually Christian. So I'd say we're probably like a 5-10% Christian nation.
So you're not surprised by those
I'm
numbers.
not surprised at all.
Okay, interesting. All right, the Cardinals had the offense in high gear last night, beating the Marlins 7-1 at Busch Stadium. Alec Burleson had a home run in the third inning, and that was one of his 2 RBIs on the night. Andrew Palente, went 7 innings, only gave up 1 hit.
Wow.
Yeah, good outing. Second game of the series starts at 6:45 tonight. Once again, that's on FanDuel. And I don't typically do Cubs news here, and I'm not joking around here, but this one's notable. He was a worthy opponent, and he represented his team, and he represented the game of baseball with a lot of class. Hall of Fame second baseman Ryne Sandberg died on Monday at the age of 65. Yeah, that was after a 1.5 year long battle with cancer.
Before you blow us all away. You wanna do that now? Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up, this is your cousin.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Dude, ready to shred your taste buds? Hit up Do Shaggy's, the gnarliest 90s skateboard anime-themed restaurant in St. Peters. Our scratch-made Shaggy OG double smash burger with grilled onions and house-made Shaggy sauce will blow your mind. Plus our epic cheesesteak mafia on garlic bread. It's totally rad. Fresh everything, beef gallo fries, and kid-friendly options too. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 8, Sundays, 11 to 4. Do Shaggy's, 429 South Church Street, St. Peters. Come get stoked and get fed.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
All right, is this a great use of technology or just creepy Big Brother running part of your home? We told you this was going to happen. We said someday.
Yeah.
That's today.
That's today.
Literally today. By the way, it's hot today. It is dangerously crazy, stupid hot today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, heat index between 111 and 115. It's dangerously hot outside.
Hit the 3 digits.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy out there. So here's what's happening is Ameren, who I think provides the electricity for pretty much everybody in the St. Louis region, Ameren is going to be taking control of about 51,000 thermostats today as part of the peak time savings event. So what they're going to be doing is reducing air conditioning in those customers. Mostly these are homes. There might be some businesses in there.
Yep.
Between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, which is, the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
Now, you say, how can they do that?
Well,
they bribed a lot of people.
Sure did.
And said, this is to save energy. It's for the environment. Matter of fact, we'll give you a bonus if you install this smart thermostat and let us have access to it.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you, I think it's literally $25 or $75 a year to stay enrolled in the program.
Yeah. They call it some sort of what's it savings thing. They attach it to so you see it on your bills like, hey, what's it savings? It's like, wow, I saved money. Yeah, that's how they bought you.
Right, exactly. So what's going to happen in the hottest part of the day? They're going to be measuring out what the demand is for the electricity. And then if you volunteered for this program and connected your home to their mainframe and gave them permission, they're going to raise that thermostat up. And they're saying, please don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
You're in this program, and then we'll let you resume control and we'll reset it for you at the end of 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, we're going to pull back, and 51,000 homes, you may get in there and say, why is my thermostat at 78? Why is it at 79? I set it at 72. Well, because Ameren said, nope, we need that electricity elsewhere. That's why. All right, got David on the line, right? It's David, right?
Yep.
Hey,
it's
Dave,
Dave.
you are on News Talk STL, my friend.
Good morning, fellows. How are you?
Doing all right.
You know, we've been dealing with this crap since the 70s. I was watching All in the Family Sunday, and Edith is getting in and out of the refrigerator real fast because of the energy crisis. You know what, folks? Come on now. I was telling Jerome I had a programmable thermostat that was connected to the internet, which, first of all, being an idiot, I guess I didn't understand why I needed my thermostat connected to the internet. I don't care what the temperature is when I'm away because I've already set it to where I want it. So I had the smart thermostat taken out, and I had a stupid thermostat taken out, which I can control. It's programmable. I don't understand, and this is what I told my wife. We keep giving away our rights little at a time for this or for that or the other. Just like adults wearing seatbelts. I don't care if you want to be a projectile, don't wear it. But people are just willingly giving away their rights because now they're going to control your thermostat. Next thing they're going to control your water. So you can't flush your toilet between 3 and 6 because we've determined that's when the most usage is.
Yeah, look at what California's doing, and that's likely what's coming. And remember, California and Nevada, they've actually had brownouts over time because they can't manage their grid. And in this one here,
you know what?
Yeah. Say it again,
guys. You know what's funny is all these power companies. I don't care who it is, Ameren or whatever. They know their grids need to be upgraded massively bad, but yet they keep installing all these charging stations. Well, what are they doing? Are they going to tell the people with electric cars you can't charge your cars between 3 and 6?
Oh, actually, that's happened in other parts of and that's actually happened.
Yeah, where they have a large percentage of electric vehicle ownership. Yeah,
they have actually done exactly that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That was my little story. But going back to 1970, All in a Family had it in their show.
Yeah.
It's funny, guys, and you guys know it because you're in the political business. And thank you for doing it because I think I'd want to puke if I did your guys' job every day. But they never change anything. They just recycle the same crap daily, yearly, and it's funny. Pick up a new tune. And Sam Page, I have some prison yellow or orange for you. Have a nice day, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
David.
You.
All right. David. See, and here's the thing, though, is that Ameren's saying, hey, this was voluntary.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yep.
But to David's point, we're voluntarily handing this over. And what's happened is 51,000 people are going to go, it's a little sticky in here. Oh, yeah. We gave control of the comfort of my home over to the company for $75 or $50 or whatever it was. So we'll resume control around 6 o'clock today. Who we got?
We have our friend Andre.
Andre,
let's make a comment about Ameren.
You are on News Talk STL, Andre.
First, I just want to say, as a former meteorologist, your term for today's heat is correct. It is stupid hot.
Stupid hot. Right.
I am an educated man. What can I say?
Secondly, I'm actually kind of disagree a little bit with you on the Ameren thing. Because it was voluntary and they're announcing it saying, hey, today we're doing this. I think it's a little different than what's happened out in Colorado and California, where they just come in and do it. And they're like, oh, hey, we did this.
Yeah, because they actually shut off power in those brownouts.
Yeah.
Down there.
Right.
They would do rotating brownouts. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And there's a power company out in Colorado that just did it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have permission to do it. Anything else, just went in and did it. And like, oh yeah, we did that.
That is an important distinction.
Different.
It is an important distinction. But I think to Mike's point, though, volunteering for the tyranny isn't a good option for you. So please be aware of that.
No, I would never do it personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I don't have any problem with them saying, hey, here's an option for you, and people taking that option.
Oh yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean it is a free market response.
Cameron did a pretty good job of informing you, hey, this is a possibility. Because I remember when they first put out this program, I was working for a company and we were installing a lot of these thermostats. So I don't see a problem with, like I said, I think people were pretty well informed that this was a possibility when they got their thermostats. I don't think it was any sort of under the table type thing. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, what's going to be interesting is because at the time people were like, oh, you're going to give me the free thermostat and give me, was it $50 or $75, whatever it was. And you're going to give me a few bucks every year. Great. No problem. What's going to be interesting is today when they get home from work and they're like, oh,
it's hot inside. Too.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I'm curious.
There'll be a lot of people with that reaction. So
yeah, that's a fair point, Andre. Hey, man, appreciate it. Thanks for being part of the show, man.
Thanks, Andre.
Yeah, because that is an important distinction, is that this was voluntary.
It was voluntary. They were well informed.
Now, here's the question: in other parts of the country, though, the companies were basically like, this is too much demand, or we want to save energy, or we're under a man, whatever the reason was, we're just going to reach into your home and do this. I am still old fashioned enough. I get mad when like Microsoft reaches into my computer and shuts my computer down and updates stuff. And I'm like, leave my stuff alone. I had it the way I like it. Don't do that. But that's just the way the world is right now. And with this, because this was 2 or 3 years ago that they implemented this program. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember us going, it's going to happen someday. Oh, yeah. And some of y'all going to be mad that you did it.
See, and I try to, turn off the lights. I try to unplug appliances to do my part to reduce electricity. But you can take my AC from my cold, dead hands.
That's right.
Actually, they would be really
hot and sweaty.
Hot and sweaty.
Yeah, I mean, my
hot, sweaty hands.
There you go.
My thermostat is digital, but it's not connected.
Right. Yeah. Mine is it's Wi-Fi enabled, so my wife can mess with it from work like she does sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not connected to Amarin. It's not one of these smart deals. So so those are the multiple levels. You got the dumb ones where you actually have to turn a dial. You got the digital ones you can program. Yep. Right, but they're not connected to the internet.
Mine's just basically a dial, but it's just a up or down arrow.
Yeah.
So it's it's just the same thing, just in digital. It just means I got to change the battery about once every 6 months.
No, just to be absolutely clear too, they're only messing with the thermostat, not the entire. Like, they're not turning your power off. So if you had
they're not turning it off, but what they're doing is they're reducing the power usage in your home
by turning up the
turning up the thermostat.
If you had like a standalone fan or something of that nature, would that be affected?
Probably not.
Okay.
Nope.
Probably
It'd have to
not.
be connected. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's only basically the AC system, which is controlled by that little box that's connected to the internet. So now if you have one of these smart homes, I don't know, maybe someday, they're going to, California us, and they're just going to turn off our grid.
Well, I remember, I mean, it's weird how many things are now like connected to the Wi-Fi.
Everything.
We bought when we renovated our kitchen, and Rachel ordered the new appliances and everything, and we were having, out of nowhere, the refrigerator stopped doing what it was supposed to do. So, we called the repair guy from the company, and he comes out and he goes, "Oh yeah, we have to update your firmware."
Yeah, I was gonna say it needed a firmware
and I'm like,
update.
"What do you mean firmware?" He goes, "Oh yeah,
it's a refrigerator."
He has this thing on his iPad, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you left the door open a little too long on this one," and I'm like,
"Whoa.
What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, this is connected to the Wi." I'm like, "Why does a refrigerator need to be connected to Wi-Fi?"
Yeah,
refrigerator has one job: keep stuff cold.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't need a program for that. I just need a refrigerator to do that.
Yeah, but now everything's got to be connected, and of course, everything needs to be connected to something where you can make a purchase now.
See, exactly.
So I've seen some of these refrigerators where they have like in one of the doors, like the French doors, is a screen. It's a touch screen, and it keeps track of what food is in your refrigerator and what you need to replenish.
Yeah,
and automatically connects you to whatever your food delivery service is, so you can order it.
So last couple minutes we got here, let's talk about the big picture of all this. Then we're going to talk to Dennis Hancock at 6:35 about this criminal investigation into Sam Page. And so when you've got everything connected to central grid, and that's the eventual plan, is to have basically everything in our lives. We're talking our cars, our freaking appliances, certainly our home energy usage, or HVAC, our heating, all of these things connected in one place. Now, in this case, as Andre fairly pointed out, we're talking about a voluntary program, but we're being kind of lulled into handing everything over. And so at some point, there's a switch where somebody gets to throw that off because a bureaucrat somewhere makes a decision that they need the power or they need to preserve the fuel or whatever it is, that they can take control and turn it off, and you don't have a choice.
Now, if you still want to comment on this particular topic, we're going to be moving on. But if you want to talk about it some more, you can do so through the News Talk STL app, which is pretty awesome. Just make sure you download that from wherever you get your apps, or update the one that you've already had. And you hit the wheel of fun, and you can comment. You can send us a voicemail, all that kind of good stuff, and continue to be part of this conversation.
Mike Ferguson in the morning
They were drinking water out of the toilet.
on News Talk STL. Colombo and Company.
Donald Trump announced another big trade deal this week with the European Union. We'll discuss the details Tuesday, plus Crane Durham from NothingButTruth.com and Susie Moore from Red State.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Are the days of a personal doctor gone? Not at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler to share how our design is putting the care back into healthcare. Plain and simple, our members, not insurance companies, get our exclusive focus. That means same or next day appointments, responsive answers to your concerns, and a no-spin, big tool chest approach. It's about time you get serious time devoted to your medical needs. To learn about healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
For 3 generations, one family has ruled the road in quality asphalt paving. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. Family owned and operated. We're your leading authority for driveways, lanes, and parking areas. No project is too small or too large. We cater to both residential and commercial needs with unbeatable quality at just $38 per square yard plus labor. Call 636-295-9949. 636-295-9949. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. You save when we pave.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio, this and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
All right, well. Turns out that breaking the law and abusing taxpayers' money might actually bring consequences.
I should hope so.
Let's find out what those are going to be. So multiple reports, primarily in St. Louis right now. KMOV is reporting this. Sam Page is being investigated by the Missouri Highway Patrol and the Missouri Attorney General's office, basically the Highway Patrol at the direction of the Attorney General's office. And this is connected to his clear violation of state law that bans the use of taxpayers' money to campaign for or against anything.
Yeah, we commented on this when it happened.
Yeah, and a lot of people did because it's not even really debatable that he broke the law.
No, not at all.
It is 6:34 right now. We're now joined by St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock. And Dennis, appreciate you being on the show here. Let me start with the foundations of this, because this was something that was objected to at the time. I think it's fair to say it is not debatable that Sam Page broke the law when he authorized and directed $4,000 or $5,000 worth of taxpayer money from his executive office, his executive's office, and used it to pay for campaign flyers and campaign mailers that were sent asking people to vote against Proposition B. I don't think there's anybody who's actually arguing that he didn't break the law, unless I'm missing something. I don't think anybody's actually, the facts of the case are not in question, are they?
Well, good morning, Mike. I appreciate you having me on this morning. To be honest with you, I've not heard anybody say that he followed the law or anything like that. So I think your assumption is correct. I think that, I know I certainly spoke up at the time. I know several other council members spoke up at the time and pointed out that you can't spend taxpayer money on a ballot measure and in support of or against it. And he ignored our counsel and our advice and went ahead and did it anyway. And so now I think it's time for as the saying goes, for the chickens to come home to roost.
Good morning, Dennis. Gabe Phifer here. So Sam Page has been involved in a lot of these types of things,
a lot of questionable stuff,
a lot of questionable activities, a lot of things where he would kind of skirt the law, or get around a rule, or basically defy the council on a number of occasions. I'm still not clear on what's going on with his side gig, if that's been ever been dealt with. But is this one of the possible situations where we could actually hold him truly accountable?
Well, I think that, anytime the Attorney General is involved in an investigation, I think it's pretty serious stuff. And so I would hope that, the truth comes out and the facts come out, and that we then the Attorney General takes the appropriate action that the law will allow him to take.
We're visiting with Dennis Hancock from the St. Louis County Council. So at this point, I mean, I know this has got to be a point of discussion, or something's going to probably come up in this today's meeting. If nothing else, I mean, I don't know if there's anything the county council can do. Are you all being kept up to date on this by anybody, or what's the communication that we're seeing amid the government circles in the county? Because, like you said, this is a big deal for the county executive to be under criminal investigation at this point.
Well, the county executive is not in the habit of sharing information with the council.
Yeah.
And so we got word yesterday because somebody saw the highway patrol officers coming into the building and going to the 9th floor. But Councilwoman Webb sent a letter to the county executive late yesterday requesting that he share with the council the information about what they were looking for, why they were there, and what the investigation is all about. And of course, up till now, we still haven't heard anything, and I fully expect that we will not hear anything from him. I would not be surprised if something comes up about this evening at our council meeting. I know I, for one, intend to ask some questions, and I'm sure others on the council will do it as well.
In the event of an actual criminal prosecution, what comes after that? I mean, that would be a really big deal for the executive to have been convicted of an actual crime. Does anything kind of automatically kick in, essentially, where it's like, okay, we can't have a criminal in the executive's office?
Well, the charter is pretty clear on it. That in the event that the county executive is convicted of a felony, he can be removed by the council. That's one of the few things that the council can do to the county executive. So as this goes on, depending on, and that's, back not very long ago when Steve Stenger was removed from office, he actually resigned because at that time there was no provision for removing the county executive, except for a recall petition by the voters. So now at least the council has the ability to do that if it comes to that.
Okay, so I also want to be fair. No criminal charges have been filed.
Right, yeah.
There is a criminal investigation. But what's odd about this, and I'm sure this is what you all will be discussing, because this isn't necessarily a Republican or Democratic thing. Like we started the conversation, Dennis, and that is the facts of the situation aren't really in question. The law is explicit on this. You cannot use taxpayer money to campaign for or against anything. Now, to be very honest, there are government entities that do that all the time. School districts, library boards, fire districts, they do that a lot. They just claim they're educational, which they're not. They're trying to sway the elections. But in this case, it was please vote no. Here's why. It was an absolute campaign piece paid for by taxpayers against our will on this. So the facts are not in case or not in question here. Now it comes down to whether or not the Highway Patrol, the Attorney General's office, is going to move forward with a criminal aspect of this. And this is kind of unusual because I think probably because it was so explicit on this, but this is adding to the long list of things that Sam Page has done to build that wall between him and the council and between him and the people. You all still have to govern. I mean, you all still have to do the county's business. How is all of this affecting that?
Well, it's no deep secret that I'm not a fan of the county executive and the way that he's managed his office. At some point in time, we need someone to show leadership coming out of the executive office, and he hasn't done that. Defying the will of the council and defying the will of the voters of the county is not leadership. And we've seen that time and time and time again, that he just does what he wants to do, as if it's some sort of third world dictator. And so I think it's good to see that that the Attorney General is doing something to try and hold him accountable for his actions. So we want to be clear, these were his actions and his alone. This did not come from the council at all. In fact, the council made it clear that we do not support spending taxpayer dollars on this ballot initiative. And so I think that as I said, this is his decision. It was his alone, and he alone should pay the consequences for this.
Producer Jerome chiming in, speaking now with St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock. So for those of us, the voting base, that might be concerned about this sort of thing happening again in the future, what avenues are there to report activity that might lead to an investigation?
Well, we passed an ordinance earlier this year to prohibit the expenditure of any county funds on any election issue without a vote of the council. So we've managed to put that control in place, but again, it's already prohibited by the state constitution. So I'm not sure how effective it truly is going to be. But we as a council have the power of the purse, and we've already taken some steps to reduce budgets where department heads have blatantly spent funds on things that they weren't authorized to spend funds on. And so we've reduced their budgets by that amount. A great example of that is the county councilor, who continues to hire outside counsel instead of using their in-house counsel for routine matters. And so we've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on these outside attorneys for simple matters. And so I think we have our budget process coming up in a very short while. That'll start in October. And I think we're going to see that the council takes a much different approach to the budget this year than we probably have in past years.
Yeah, absolutely. Money talks. And we're, of course, it's not a big secret, Dennis. You've already announced that you're running for county executive to challenge Sam Page on this. But this has to do with, we're going to see different competing visions of what the role and what the limits and how to govern. And what you're describing is just your approach would be very, very different than Sam Page's approach, because Sam Page just seems to think rules don't apply to him. Mm-hmm. There is no law and order. He can just do whatever the heck he wants on this. So if we get him replaced, if you're in there as county executive, what changes as far as the administration of that office? I mean, outside of various policies and things like that, the actual administration of the executive.
Well, I think that one of the things that I think is key is having somebody in the office who's competent, who understands how government works, who understands how to make it work for everyday people. Fixing potholes isn't glamorous, but people appreciate it when you do that. Plowing the streets in the wintertime, as we saw in the city election, became a huge issue. Just the competence of the executive. And we have seen example after example after example where the current county executive is just incompetent and surrounds himself with people who are even less competent than he is. And so, it just becomes this death spiral of trying to get anything done. And of course, his answer to every issue that the county faces is we need more tax revenue. So I think what you would see if I were in the executive's office is that there's somebody there who understands what people need, who understands how to get it for them. I'm not a flashy guy. I'm not a glamorous guy, but I know how to get the job done.
All right. And Dennis, do you have the campaign website, social media, stuff like that set up yet? Or are we still putting that together?
No, it's Hancock for countyexecutive.com. And on August the 11th at 6:00, we're going to be kicking off our campaign at Helen Fitzgerald's in Sunset Hills. So we invite everyone to come and join us on the 11th.
Oh, good place. I like Helen Fitzgerald. All right, Dennis, appreciate the update. Appreciate the perspective on that. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, guys.
All right, 314-912-1019. I'll give you the basics of what's happening. Just kind of recap that here in just a minute. In the news dump, don't forget Attorney General Andrew Bailey is going to be with us at 7:05. Although by law, he can't really comment on this.
Yeah.
He is going after the country's most prolific abortion provider. And we are going to talk about that still ahead here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
He picked the wrong schoolyard to come into, I have to tell you this.
On News Talk STL.
This app is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
It is awesome.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, who's in charge of how comfortable your home is today? This has got a lot of people talking. I think there's going to be a lot of people around St. Louis who are like, oh, that wasn't worth it.
He's like, oh, wait a minute. What did I do?
What did I do? Oh, man. All right. Also, Cardinals fans are among those paying tribute to a longtime opponent. We're talking about a Chicago Cubs opponent who competed against us with a lot of class over the years. Just a sad story out of Chicago. Coming up on 6:49, I'm Mike. That's Gabe. That's Jerome. Let's dump some news on you.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the morning news dump.
All right, just to recap what we were talking about with Councilman Dennis Hancock just a moment ago, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page now under criminal investigation by the Missouri Attorney General's office. That is according to KMOV, which is reporting that the investigation stems from Page's use of taxpayer money to campaign against Proposition B last year. After complaints were filed against Page, The Secretary of State's office referred the case to the Attorney General. Page authorized a campaign postcard opposing that ballot measure. Missouri law explicitly bans any use of taxpayer funds in campaigns. So this is going to be an interesting case, Gabe, where the facts of the case are really not in question.
Not at all.
He broke the law.
Yeah, we already know what happened.
Yeah. So the question is going to be, is he going to be held criminally liable for breaking campaign law in Missouri?
Right. And this could lead to a felony. Is that right?
Over $5,000 spent. That's felony territory. Now, what the Highway Patrol determines, what the Attorney General's office determined, that, and there are some people say, why is the Attorney General office investigating this? There's a county prosecutor right there. Well, there's a conflict of interest with the county prosecutor.
Right.
So they referred that up the line. And then the Secretary of State's office, which also has jurisdiction, referred that to the Attorney General's office on this as well. So that's why that's going where it is.
Right.
So the question isn't, did he break the law? He did.
Right. So it's basically, where do we go from here?
And he was warned at the time, according to Dennis Hancock a few minutes ago, that he was warned, you can't do this.
Yeah, by the council. Basically, the entire council said, yeah, you can't do that.
And the attorneys there, they said you can't, and he did it anyway.
Sure did.
So my hope is that he is absolutely tried, perp walked, convicted, because even though it's not just about me not liking Sam Page, we need to make sure that executives, politicians, those in power understand there's a much higher threshold that you all have when it comes to things like this.
Absolutely.
And especially when you knowingly and arrogantly flout the law, you need to feel the full weight of the law and be held accountable on this.
Absolutely.
Now,
I think the for the amount of power that these individuals hold over our lives, the threshold for bullcrap that we take from them should be real low.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly. And then mistakes are one thing.
Yeah, that's a different idea.
This wasn't a mistake.
No,
it wasn't a mistake. All right, Senator Josh Hawley filing legislation that would, if approved, send checks to working Americans with the funds coming from the money collected through tariffs. Now, this is a follow-up to what we talked about yesterday.
Right.
Hawley's bill calls for $600 to be sent to every adult and another $600 for every dependent child in the household. It's styled after the stimulus program, even though it's not actually a stimulus program.
And there's an income threshold too, isn't there?
Well, you're still going to get money, but it's reduced a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. He calls it the American Worker Rebate Act, and the check amounts would be, to what you're talking about, reduced by 5% if the taxpayer's gross income is over $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 in a joint return. So they would still get 95% of it.
Right.
The U.S. national debt, by the way, is currently an estimated $36.71 trillion.
Right. And I think Jerome did the math on that not too long ago about how much each of us owes. How much was that?
So if you were to calculate every single person,
including babies, basically.
Including babies and the projected amount of illegals that are here, $107,000 each of us.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's it. $600 goes a long way.
Yeah. Pay down the debt.
Pay down the debt.
Pay down the debt.
Just do it.
Senator Hawley, be conservative. Stop being populist. Be conservative.
Seriously.
That's what got you elected. Please go back to being conservative. That's what I'm asking. I said it. All right. California, once again, challenging President Donald Trump in court, filing another lawsuit accusing the Trump administration of amassing personal information from SNAP recipients, meaning what used to be called food stamps. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says it violates multiple federal privacy laws, and the information is being used for unrelated purposes to then actually feeding people.
You don't promise to help someone eat, then punish them for sitting at the table. And California won't comply.
But what if they're sitting at the table illegally?
Yeah. What if you didn't actually offer? Because the law says, hey, Americans, if you're having trouble eating, come over to this table. And I think in some cases it explicitly says, if you're not American, this table isn't for you.
Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, also part of this lawsuit. Here's part of what she had to say in the press conference.
They are basically trying to weaponize the SNAP program against immigrant communities.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is that the Trump administration is collecting data, which, you know what, big government collecting, it can be a little bit creepy. I get that. but they're trying to sort out the people who are in the country legally and in the country illegally. And if you're in illegally, you don't get federal welfare benefits or state welfare benefits.
How dare they try to stop us from using our American tax money to help people that are not Americans that shouldn't be here?
Right.
How dare you conservatives?
Yeah.
So crazy.
Oh my goodness. All right. Ameren will be taking control of tens of thousands of home thermostats today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not overstating it. That's what's happening.
Reaching right into your house.
Yep. The company says 51,000 customers who are part of the Peak Time Savings Event program will have their energy usage reduced between 3 and 6 p.m. in order to reduce the overall demand on the grid. Now, remember, you signed up for this. If you took that free thermostat, took that free installation, you took that 50 or 75 bucks or whatever it was they gave you as a bonus to start with, then you signed up for it. And Ameren's taking control of your thermostat today because it's going to be ridiculously hot. And the company is asking residents, hey, if you're in this program, don't touch that thermostat. We're in control for a few hours of this. After those peak hours, the company will graciously return the thermostats back to normal and you can control your own home again.
Yeah. Okay. That's why when these smart thermostats first came out, we warned you on this here radio station. We said it's very likely that they're going to be able to reach into your house and adjust your temperature for you in certain cases. That's going to be what they're going to sell you. You're going to say, well, we're just trying to reduce the load on the system. And here we are.
And it's happening today.
It's happening.
All right. A new survey, this is interesting, says most of us want or need that caffeine jolt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So according to Yahoo Lifestyle, 81% of Americans drink caffeine every day. 81%.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. About half of those are primarily drinking coffee. 20% are gulping down soft drinks with caffeine. 7% prefer tea. 4% rely on energy drinks. We call that the Jerome caucus.
The Tony Colombo.
The Tony Colombo
Society.
caucus. Yeah, the Tony Colombo Society. Oh, man. 30% of us say they've tried to quit. I don't know why you'd do that, but they've tried to quit. 32% of those surveyed say they have never tried to quit and have no plans to try to quit. The people in that category are known officially as my peeps.
We are the 81%.
That's right.
It's like, yeah, I'm addicted to coffee. So what?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? By the way, those energy drinks are really bad for you.
The energy in particular. It's like concentrated caffeine and other things that are really bad for you.
It's
too.
got some B vitamins. It's like a multivitamin in liquid form.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
You can put that on top. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. And cake has eggs in it. Therefore, it's, healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Cardinals had the offense in high gear last night, beating the Marlins 7-1 at Busch Stadium. Same two teams play tonight at 6:45. Okay. I don't typically do Cubs news here, but this one's notable. Ryne Sandberg passed away on Monday at the age of 65. Absolutely a worthy opponent. Classy baseball player, represented the game and his team very, very well. At only 65 years old, he died after a 1.5 year long battle with cancer.
For over 50 years, Di Gregorio's Italian Market has been serving up a taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned and operated, nestled in the heart of the hill. From homemade sausage and meatballs to spadini, pizzas, pastas, and sauces, our wide variety of Italian specialties will transport your taste buds straight to Rome. For a truly authentic Italian shopping experience, visit your friends at Di Gregorio's. Shop local, shop Di Gregorio's Italian Market, where every bite tells a story.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Their Provia windows combine old world craftsmanship the professional way, the Provia way, with over 65 years of combined experience, locally owned, offering competitive pricing and personalized service that the big box companies can't match. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Hey, Jamie Ullman here with my common sense brother, Rob Very, owner of STL Bath and Renovation. And let me tell you something, your home is your castle, but so is your bathroom. Rob, how can you make it beautiful?
Jamie, if you're tired of cleaning, you love the tile, but you hate the grout, we can give you man-made or natural stone in your bathroom for your floors and walls, but no grout. Easy to maintain.
And beautiful. All kinds of selections as well.
More than you can count.
STLBR.com, St. Louis Bath and Renovation, STLBR.com. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Jamie.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. Amit Thomason.
This never gets easy.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams leading a news briefing on the mass shooting at a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. New York City's police commissioner is Jessica Tisch.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire.
4 people, including the off-duty NYPD officer, were shot to death. The 5th person wounded by the gunman, who Tisch says later took his own life. The gunman, identified as 27-year-old Shane Chamorro of Las Vegas, had a documented mental health history. According to police, the building the suspect targeted is home to the headquarters of both the NFL and Blackstone, one of the world's largest investment firms, among other tenants. Suspect in custody in Nevada. 3 people are dead following a shooting outside a casino in Reno. A gunman opened fire just outside the Grand Sierra Resort. 3 other people wounded. They were taken to a hospital. President Trump has cut the ribbon on his new golf course and resort in Aberdeen, Scotland. The president notes it was not easy getting to this point.
This has been an unbelievable development. The land, they said it couldn't get zoned. It was an impossibility. And Sean Connery said, let the bloody bloke build his golf course. Once he said that, everything came into line.
The president dedicating the new course in the memory of his late mother, quoting Mr. Trump, "My mother was born here, and she loved it." Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, stock futures in positive territory. Right now, the Dow futures are up 29 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 111 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's something about the feel of a gold coin in your hand and the way the light reflects off its intricate details that has always captivated me. Nick Grovich, AmFed's owner, turned that same passion into his livelihood. Nick began collecting coins as a teen, and that interest grew into a nationally respected business offering only the finest quality coins at the most competitive prices. But the truth is that although Nick is a rare coin dealer, he doesn't believe in rare coins. Rare coins do not make sound investments, but they do make dealers a lot of money. See, that's part of what I respect about him. AmFed specializes in buying non-performing numismatic coins and turning them into gold or silver investments that provide liquidity and perform competitively against the market. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high, 97. Oppressive heat index up to 110. Just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change. Still hot, up to 95. Heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
All aboard! There's a new way to travel, and it's one of the oldest forms of transportation. Travel by train. Yes, consider traveling around the United States on Amtrak. Traveling by train is a lot less of a headache than taking a plane, and you'd be surprised how many places you can go on an Amtrak, and there's no passports or IDs needed. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now, We'll book your trip and email your tickets within minutes. Skip the drive to the airport and skip the lines. Call right now to book your Amtrak reservations. We service most of the United States. All aboard! Do something new. Travel by Amtrak today.
800-867-6917. 800-867-6917. 800-867-6917. That's 800-867-6917.
Mike Ferguson,
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Phifer,
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
All right, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say the national pro-life movement and, frankly, the overall death cult, that is to say the abortion industry, all watching Missouri's lawsuit against Planned Parenthood very closely right now. This is a big deal. We're going to talk about how important that is. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe here. Got Jerome here. Coming up on 7:06 right now. We've got Attorney General Andrew Bailey with us. And I know that a lot of people, let me just kind of put this out there to get the awkwardness out of the way. A lot of people are saying, okay, ask him about the Sam Page thing. That is an active criminal investigation. He's not going to be able to comment on that.
Can't do it, guys.
We are going to get into more depth on that at 7:20, but I don't want to put anybody in position to compromise anything like that. So we had a conversation with County Councilman Dennis Hancock. That's going to be up on our podcast here in a few minutes. And also, like I said, we're going to dig into depth on that at 7:20. So let's move on to this, frankly, bigger national situation right now. We've got the Attorney General with us right now. So General Bailey, thanks for being on the program here. You are targeting Planned Parenthood, and it has to do with the chemical abortions. And frankly, to some degree, I guess their marketing of it. Give us the basics of the lawsuit that's brought against Planned Parenthood nationally on this.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. First of all, thank you so much for having me on and covering this important story. This is about protecting the health and safety of women and children. The left wants you to believe that mifepristone, a powerful chemical designed to take human life, is birth control, and it's not. It's an abortifacient. In other words, it's a pill that's a powerful chemical to take to kill a child in the womb. And so it's important that it be understood by patients who may be considering taking that. And it's also important that anyone selling this drug or prescribing this powerful chemical explain to the patients the health risks associated with taking that pill. And that's not what Planned Parenthood is doing. They're doing the opposite. They're lying to Missouri patients to conceal the dangerous nature of this drug. We're going to hold them accountable using the Missouri Merchandising Practices Act. It prevents fraudulent or deceptive business practice, predatory business practices. And that's what we're seeing from Planned Parenthood. So we're going to put a stop to it and hold them accountable.
Morning, Attorney General Gabe Phifer here. So, of course, the opponents to what's going on with this lawsuit will say, well, hey, it's an FDA-approved drug. How can you make these claims when the FDA already said it's safe?
Well, a few points to make there. Number one, Missouri joined the lawsuit to try to reject that FDA approval because the FDA used an end run around the Administrative Procedures Act to reach the approval that it did under the Biden administration. In other words, the Biden administration, as usual, broke the rules to push a radical left-wing agenda at the risk of health and safety of women and children. And so we're contesting that FDA approval. But I would also point out that even with the FDA approval, there are certain safety notifications that have to be on the packaging. Like, for instance, the fact that somewhere between 5 and 10% of women who take this powerful chemical that's designed to end a human life end up in the emergency room with hemorrhaging, with further complications, with anxiety, with depression. And if you have an undiagnosed ectopic pregnancy, we don't even begin to understand how dangerous this pill becomes. And so when you've got Planned Parenthood saying, hey, this pill is as safe as Tylenol, that's an outright lie, and they know better. And every study that's come out since that FDA approval has only demonstrated an increased risk to the health and safety of women who take the pill.
Okay, what's the status right now of the lawsuit? I mean, I know these things take a long time, and there's going to be a lot involved with this. But what's the status of it at the moment?
Well, we've got subpoenas that have already been issued. We've got a lawsuit pending in Cole County, and this is the first time that the National Planned Parenthood organization has been sued under this legal theory. And so we're leading the nation in this fight, and we intend to enforce those subpoenas, get discovery, and put a stop to it. We've asked for more than $1 million in restitution to the state of Missouri, plus individual restitution to any women who were harmed. Additionally, we want to recover costs associated with emergency visits under our Mo Health Net Medicaid program that were increased because of the dangerous nature of this drug. And so that's where we begin. And we will see where the lawsuit goes. We're waiting for Planned Parenthood to file a response. They have not done so yet, but we'll certainly look forward to coming back on your show and talking through that when they do.
We're visiting with Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. And speaking of the Medicaid, I'm glad you mentioned that real quick, which, by the way, I did not realize that was part of this lawsuit, but that makes perfect sense on here. The federal judge now blocking a part of the rescissions bill, saying that basically Planned Parenthood can't get money from Medicaid to do Planned Parenthood things. I know this is not a Missouri case, but I know you also watch this very, very closely. What's your assessment of that order that judge issued at this point? I mean, it was passed by Congress. It was signed by the president, and yet a judge has jumped in to try to block something that was done otherwise.
Yeah, a judge in Massachusetts. I wonder why Planned Parenthood chose an Obama-appointed judge in Massachusetts. Could it be because he's a judicial activist? Surprise, surprise that they're forum shopping like that. And that's exactly why earlier this year, the Supreme Court struck down the universal nationwide injunctions. And so I think this judge is running afoul of recent United States Supreme Court decisions that block a United States single district court judge in Massachusetts from blocking an entire federal statute's application across the United States of America, and thereby upending the will of the people as expressed through their elected representatives. And that's why that ending those nationwide injunctions was so important. But we're in the same fight in the state of Missouri. Our legislature banned any public funding to Planned Parenthood, and we are defending that in federal court. We're at the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. I believe briefing is due within the next few days, and we'll hopefully have oral argument in that. We anticipate winning that case here in Missouri. Because at the end of the day, this is about where your public dollars go. And the legislative bodies, either at the federal or state level, Congress or the General Assembly, by Constitution, power over the purse. This is a rational decision for them to make. And we're not, at the end of the day, think about what's happening here. It's just, should public dollars be going to that entity that we know has a despicable record of lying to patients, to harming patients, to putting, for instance, in Missouri, using a moldy abortion machine and knowing about it, refusing to comply with state health and safety regulations. And so I think it is absolutely appropriate that our legislative bodies would end public funding to this cult of death.
All right. We're visiting once again with Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. I want to ask you about something. I saw you on Newsmax, I think it was even yesterday, talking about AI and big tech. And you put this in an interesting way, referring to what's being, I guess, the output of some of this as, your words, encyclopedia of lies that are being pushed. What's the current with the back and forth with big tech? We've already seen it with social media, with the suppression of different news stories and things like that. We've got a whole new world with AI. What's the right role of government and watchdog government like your office in the creation and the building of AI? I thought that was a fascinating conversation that you had with Newsmax the other day.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. And look, again, Missouri is leading the way on this. We have, ever since we filed the suit, Missouri v. Biden, to end government censorship on big tech social media platforms. We exposed the vast censorship regime being administered all the way to the top of the White House chain of command under the Biden administration. We continued even after President Trump issued his executive order to dismantle the government censorship. We continued our fight against corporate censorship by promulgating a rule, first of its kind in the nation, first of its kind in the world, that requires algorithmic choice where you get to choose who curates your feed, to break up that unprecedented consolidation of power that big tech social media has in its monopoly on those censorship algorithms. And the same thing is going to need to happen with AI. I mean, at the end of the day, the government should be protecting a free, fair, and open marketplace of ideas. It doesn't mean I get to stop other people's ideas that I disagree with. The remedy for disfavored speech is counter speech, not suppression of speech. And so when you've got AI that is advertising itself as objective encyclopedic information, but then is, for instance, saying that Donald Trump is anti-Semitic, when we all know, based on what he's done, moving the consulate to Jerusalem, increasing its aid to the state of Israel. He has family members who are Jewish. So at the end of the day, it's like, this is the most absurd lie, and it's just a false advertising problem. If they're advertising themselves as an encyclopedia of objective information and then stilting that information to attack a political opponent that they disagree with, that ends up harming consumers. So all we're asking for here is free, fair, and open debate where the competition of ideas can prevail, and we, the people, determine what is true based on that competition of ideas and open debate.
Yeah, and that's got to be an interesting balance, using government to protect a free and open market. I mean, the libertarian in me has a little bit of a stroke when I hear that, but that actually does make a little bit of sense on that. What's the right role of government in protecting that free and open market?
Well, and surely even my libertarian friends can say, look, the big tech marketplace operates differently. That's not a free and fair, open economic marketplace because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act that has created this unprecedented consolidation of power, where they can use Section 230 as both a shield to civil liability, but also a sword to explicitly censor content. It's all we're asking for here is that consumers understand who is doing the censoring and on what terms. I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't be saying certain things. I'm just saying they have to warn consumers so we can make our own decisions.
Yeah, because that's really what's at stake, is access to information and access to make our own decisions based on that information, right?
Absolutely. And again, we've got a market. Look, there were 500 different AI programs. Great. We can all choose which ones we like, and they can advertise, hey, I'm the conservative one, I'm the liberal one, the objective one. But at the end of the day, because the big tech marketplace is an oligarchy created in Silicon Valley that has this, that's developed under this interpretation, Section 230 of the CA, we're talking about 4 or 5 companies who control the overwhelming majority of all the flow of information online.
All right. We've already tagged you on our social media, and I think they're allowing that to get out right now.
Yeah.
Attorney General Andrew Bailey, people want to stay connected with you. What's the way that you prefer? What's the best way to do that, especially if they have any questions or want to bring something up to you?
Yeah, check us out at AG Andrew Bailey, or go to ago.mo.gov. That's ago.mo.gov. We want to hear from our constituents, and we're here to help.
All right. Attorney General Andrew Bailey, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys. Look forward to talking soon.
Absolutely. All right. 314-912-1019. Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but did you notice that the gremlins got into the audio just a little bit on that? I'm just saying, I'm borrowing Jerome's tinfoil hat. I'm just saying that I think Soros, our gremlin, jumped in there and was yanking on some of the wires. I don't think we actually have wires.
Now, if you wanted to, if you missed any portion of that discussion, or you want to hear from the various other times that we've talked to AG Bailey, or if you want to hear any of the other interviews or segments that we've had on this show, you can get all of those things through our podcast. Get your podcast wherever you get your podcasts, basically. And,
do the podcast
thing. And then also you can get on NewsTalkSTL.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
It's Tuesday, and we'll talk with David from the Show Me Institute on the police commissioner who was, who now isn't.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
This is 1019 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
All right. Multiple reports say Sam Page is being investigated by the Highway Patrol and by the Missouri Attorney General's office. We had a conversation with St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock, who in all disclosure is running for county executive right now, about this very situation. And that is up on our podcast. We're going to have that individual discussion posted a little bit later, but you can get it right now. The 6 o'clock hour is now posted on the News Talk STL podcast here. And by the way, just to reiterate, because there's probably somebody that says, well, Mike, you just had the Attorney General on the show. Why didn't you just ask him about it? It's an active criminal investigation.
Right. There are kind of rules about those.
There are rules. He can't comment on that because it's an active criminal investigation. So once there's some kind of resolution, or if and when charges are filed, I have no doubt that he's going to tell us whatever he can. But at this point in it, he just can't. There are rules. There are laws about that.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up on 7:20 right now. But here's the thing, though, Gabe, is that the key word there is criminal.
That's a big one.
That's a huge word.
That is a defining aspect of this whole story, because, you know, in the past, all of our Sam Page stories have been about him. Now he's been flouting rules all over the place. He's kind of been defying them. You know, there would be orders to hand over information, and he would defy those, or he would say that he would talk to the council about doing something. They'd say, no, you can't do that, and he'd do it anyway. But it never ran afoul of the criminal law before.
Right. I mean, you think about this over the past 4 years, we've updated the charter in St. Louis County specifically to double down on things that were already in the charter that Sam Page was disobeying or disregarding.
Right. And we're just talking like basic governance rules.
And we're also talking about spending money in an unauthorized way. We're talking about, for instance, him spending, you know, I forget how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it was.
On the consulting company?
The consulting and the communications company, for the single purpose, as we've later found out, to rehab his image after the COVID shutdowns. He went with this out-of-state communications firm, and it was a huge amount of money that he should not have been spending, and he was not authorized to spend. And in this case right here, what we have is, and it was only like $5,000 or something like that. So compared to the other things.
Oh yeah. It's relatively small in terms of dollar amount, but
it's crucial when it comes to integrity of the government and the office that he's in.
Right.
And here's why, because Missouri law, it is explicit. There is no question what the law means when it says that you cannot use any taxpayer funding to promote or oppose any candidate or ballot measure. There's nothing. And Dennis Hancock informed us a little bit ago that he was warned of this.
Right, by the council.
He was told, not only the counselor, I took that to mean the attorneys in the government too,
probably
saying you can't do this, Sam. And he spends $5,000 of your taxpayer dollar talking to the people who live in St. Louis County. And he sent out in key areas, he sent out postcards, glossy, full color postcards, campaigning against Prop B, asking people to vote no on Prop B. Now, he ended up getting the win.
Yeah.
Voters rejected Prop B, unfortunately. But that doesn't change the fact that what he did broke the law.
Right. Yeah. And the key takeaway here is that this particular law carries the possibility of rising to a felony.
Right.
And that's really why this is so different. This is why, when we had A.G. Bailey on, we couldn't talk about it.
No.
Because this is
Not
a
yet.
different set of rules. Right. And of course, and when we talked to Dennis Hancock about what happens if this actually goes through, if something, we're talking about removal as a possibility. So the stakes have been raised, essentially, I guess we can say.
Yeah. So here's the situation with this law. And I have been talking about this on the air for, I don't know how long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is kind of a little burr in my saddle, if you will.
This is one of our bugaboos.
It really is because this is one of the abuses of government that just really ticks me off.
And it's a regular
it happens all the time. But here's what usually happens. Your school district sends out a flyer or a folder or a pamphlet, full color, glossy, at the cost of tens of thousands of dollars,
taxpayer
dollars, as a quote unquote educational piece of literature to educate you about the bond issue that's on the ballot.
Hey, Prop E is going to provide X number of dollars for education, and this will allow us to do X, Y, and Z of awesome things for your kids.
Right. Or the library district,
right,
or city hall, or the parks and rec. And what's happened is that the government lawyers have basically said, okay, as long as we don't say the words vote yes, we're fine. Well, that's not exactly true.
It's not true. That's some lawyer fudgy stuff.
I actually filed a complaint against a school district years ago for doing that, and they ended up getting fined for it. Now, they didn't negate the millions of dollars of bonds that they cheated. It's what it is. It's cheating.
The fine ends up just being part of the cost of the campaign.
Little slap on
that's
the wrist.
That's the thing that always is. It's like, you know what? It's like, hey, if we get fined for this, just consider it a cost of the campaign.
Exactly.
And that's it. It's not a deterrent.
So it should be a deterrent, and there should be more. Now, here's the difference here, is that this was explicit.
Right.
Vote no. We have to stop this.
Right.
Here's why. I mean, this was a campaign piece.
Clearly so.
That taxpayers funded, whether we liked it or not. That's just the way that it was. And so this is being more overt. And now the more information that we find out, the more that he was told, you can't do this.
Right.
And he did it anyway.
Yeah. It speaks a lot about, to some regard, unchecked power. If it sounds like this has been a repeat behavior that's just not been held accountable. And so finally the hammer's coming down. Now, could this be an opportunity for Sheriff Loaded Dice to come in and actually redeem himself? Say, I got this one, guys. Go get him.
Different jurisdiction, but no, he's in the city, but he can't do that.
And the sheriff office.
I know it's very frustrating when we keep finding out like the hole keeps getting deeper for all this stuff. But at the same time, I think it's a nice wake up call to say we actually have people in office that are willing to take this on, just put a stop to it, and hopefully that will be the example to stop the rest of it.
But it was interesting when Dennis was on with us. Dennis Hancock was on with us a little bit ago. And he said, yeah, we're in the building and we see the highway patrol come in and go up to the 9th floor. And now we want to know now is Sam Page going to tell him no?
No, of course not.
This guy is completely authoritarian, and after courts ruled you can't do these mandates back during the COVID tyrannical era, he did them anyway. He would just issue new orders, and people would just increasingly started disobeying, but increasingly businesses were being threatened.
Right.
And and so you walk in and go, the courts ruled against that. They're like, we just got a letter threatening us.
Right.
So we're going to be lackeys. I've already complained about how many churches were complete cowards and cowered to him and in his violation of the First Amendment because they were scared of him. They were more scared of him than they were interested in following their faith throughout the county. And I'll leave it at that. That's just what happened. But he abused his power over and over, and he's gotten away with it over and over and over again. You mentioned to Dennis the fact that the charter specifically prohibits the county executive from having an outside job.
Yep.
And we know that he had an outside job for a long. We still don't know for sure that he doesn't have because he's been asked to show evidence that he has stepped away from that and he hasn't done it.
Yep.
So you've got a guy who basically is living, to your point, Jerome, above the law because
Constantly.
right. And so that's why this is so crucial. Even if we're talking about I think it was $5,000 that was spent, maybe 10,000, but I think it was $5,000.
Right.
So it wasn't a huge amount of dollars, but the impact and the bigger picture is massive. And it absolutely was a criminal act. And I am very, very happy to see somebody treating it like a criminal act and not just a civil infraction, but to say this is the law. It says you can't do ABC. You did ABC after being told ABC is illegal. And now we're at least going to investigate. We'll see where it goes.
I'm feeling like this could be the tax evasion, charges that brings down Al Capone, right? It's
Right.
like, that kind of things. Like there are lots of crimes that you've done that we couldn't get you on, but we got you on this one.
Now, is 16 too young to drive? Find out how many of us think it's time to rethink some laws about who can do what based on your age. That's on 750. But before then, Larry Connor's commentary. Stay put. We were going to ask the question, are we too forgiving of hateful leftists?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot, up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Tony Colombo here for the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store in Old Town St. Peters, where they have a huge selection of products and services for your yard and home, including a full line of lawn and garden products, a full line of products for animal care, and that includes anything from livestock to the family dog or cat. They'll fill any size propane tank for about half the price of a new one, and so much more. Visit them in St. Peters on 2nd Street, right behind the QT at 70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and check out all their products and services at oldtowncountrystore.com.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
So at what point do you accept an apology? And how many apologies are you willing to accept from the same person, the same group, over and over again? I've always believed if someone is sincere, then I'm convinced it won't happen again. I'll accept the apology, move on. But with the progressive left, they're not likely to accept apologies from you, even for the first mistake. And yet they want to be able to run as crazy as they want. When confronted with it, my bad, I'm sorry, forgive me. Perfect example out of Florida the other day. A school board member learned that Hulk Hogan had died, posting, "Good, one less MAGA in the world." Well, that immediately got flashback, so she deleted her remarks and then apologized, saying, "A few days ago, I made a cruel, flippant comment. I deeply regret that comment. I've since removed it. I want to make it clear I never have, never will wish harm on anyone." And yet you did. And now you want to offer an apology. All right. We might forgive you, but we're not going to forget.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Back pain? Follow me to Esquire Sports Medicine, where they've got your back. Esquire is the oldest sports medicine clinic in St. Louis. Dr. Draghi and his team of chiropractors can get you back to work, back to life without the pain. New patients usually scheduled within 24 hours. 314-644-0885. 644-0885. EsquireSportsMedicine.com.
Well, it is definitely summer here in the heartland. Time to call Hanson's Tree Service for all of your commercial and residential tree care. Tim Jones here for Hanson's Tree Service. Let him come out to your homestead or your business today. Take care of everything regarding the exterior of your home. Grinding and land clearing, all residential and commercial tree services. They've got fantastic organic mulch in bulk, plant health care as well. Give them a call, 636-379-1830, 24/7. They're always available at hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all new NewsTalk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the NewsTalk STL app.
Anywhere.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me, the beast is ugly. I feel the rage and I just can't hold it. It's scratching on the wall, in the closet, in the halls. It comes awake and I can't control it. Hiding under the bed, in my body, in my head.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Just got a text, guys, from Mark Harder, also on the St. Louis County Council. He says, yeah, you've got the cost of the printing of those postcards, campaign postcards, but he says plus $50,000 in postage run through the county postage machine, not just the postcard printing. This is what could make it a federal charge.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So this is a lot bigger than that $5,000.
Yeah. And if it's run through their machines, that means he got employees
to
do that.
Exactly.
Oh,
so,
wow.
all right. So we'll keep you updated on that. Coming up on 7:36 right now. You know what I like, guys?
What's that?
I like it when big government gets peeled back and replaced with nothing.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
That's great.
Yeah, that's not losing something. That's advancing freedom. And it looks like that's happening today. And the environmental leftists are not going to like this. We are now joined by Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition, also author of the book, A Very Convenient Warming, How Modest Warming and More CO2 Are Benefiting Humanity. Gasp. Pearl clutch.
Yes.
We just said something about CO2. All right. Gregory, appreciate you being back on the program here. So there's an announcement coming up today from the EPA under Lee Zeldin. And we're talking about repealing kind of a cornerstone leftist climate regulation law. What is it we should be expecting?
Yeah, it's called the endangerment finding. It was imposed in 2009 by the Obama's Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Lee Zeldin is in charge of that now. And what it did, they found in 2009 that carbon dioxide is a pollutant. And the problem with this is they didn't listen to any contradictory evidence or science, factual information that disputed it. They only, and so this is why it's the science goes against this. Today, Lee Zeldin in Indianapolis is going to announce that they will reconsider and repeal this endangerment finding. And what this does, it pulls the rug out from under this whole house of cards. All of your listeners over the Obama and Biden, EPA, Department of Transportation, Department of Energy, these people have been systematically restricting your listeners' freedoms to choose. And when I was on with you last time I told you I was fiercely pro-choice, and you went, what? But by that I mean I'm pro-choice. All of your listeners should be given the choice of what kind of car to drive, how to heat their home, what temperature to heat their home.
they should be given that opportunity and that choice. And this is a first good step today to doing that.
Okay.
Bringing common sense back into this whole process instead of this numbskull net zero type thing they're going after.
Okay, does that mean some leftists believe I am polluting the planet right now by exhaling?
Yeah, every breath you exhale. Now, bear in mind, if you go outside, the parts per million for CO2 is 430 parts per million, and every time you exhale, it's 40,000 parts per million is what you're breathing out. And so if you had a CO2 meter in your office right now, it would probably be up maybe 800 or 900, twice what it is outside, because your breathing out is increasing CO2. But here at the CO2 Coalition, I'm executive director. We're the preeminent scientific organization in the world pushing back against this and providing the science. But our unofficial motto here is we love CO2 and so should you. And it's kind of catchy, but it's true. There's so many good things. My latest book here, A Very Convenient Warming. We've gone beyond my first book. I really explored how there is no climate crisis. We've gone beyond that now to not only is there not a climate crisis, but we look at by almost every metric we look at, Earth's ecosystems are thriving and prospering, and humanity is benefiting from modest increases of temperature and increasing CO2. I call it the greatest untold story of the 21st century. In fact, I'd encourage your listeners. We have a recent publication we did, Climate Change in the Midwest, America's Breadbasket. Life is good and getting better. And if you go to CO2coalition.org and just search for Midwest, you'll get that document, and you'll be able to see for yourself what the temperature. We take this temperature record back to 1895, so you can see 130 years of data. What's actually going on with temperature through time? And we find here, for example, in Missouri, the hottest temperature ever recorded, 1954. Well, that was at low CO2 levels. All of these Midwest states, they're all back in the 30s, most of them, 2/3 in the 1930s, not recently. So you might talk about the hot weather today, but we show in this Midwest report that actually the hottest temperatures occurred 80, 90 years ago. It has nothing to do with increasing CO2. And this today, Lee Zeldin's announcement repealing the endangerment finding is just a huge victory for us. We've been fighting hard to get to this point. We've had lots of victories in the last 6 months under the Trump administration. This might be the biggest of all. So we'll dance on the grave of the endangerment finding. It's bringing common sense back to science and the EPA.
Good morning, Gregory. Gabe Phifer here. So unpack that a little bit in terms of what it means to us. That the fact that the CO2 is no longer considered a pollutant. Obviously, it was silly to begin with. I think we did a segment or two on how silly it was from the scientific standpoint. But in terms of how that affected legislation and how that legislation affects individuals, kind of unpack how getting rid of this rule is going to positively impact individuals.
I'd encourage your listeners, they're probably sitting in the comfort of their home or their office right now. Look around. Every electronic, every bit everything you're using today that uses electricity is now been controlled by these regulatory agencies. If it's not Department of Energy, it's your car by Department of Transportation. And they're using the incorrect analysis that CO2 is a pollutant to tell you what kind of car to drive. They were going to impose electric vehicles on everyone. That's gone. Your ceiling fan above you, you're restricted in how much on the types of ceiling fans that you can buy, and they're more expensive. Same with your dishwasher. The dishwashers today, you're limited in your choice because they're to what the government says you can buy. That's not the way it should work in America, and it's all predicated on this fear. Unnatural, untruthful fear of increasing carbon dioxide leading to unusual and unprecedented warming in the atmosphere. And that's just not true. It is true. CO2 is a greenhouse gas. It's just not a very powerful one. And it's greatly overwhelmed in the climate by water vapor in the form of clouds and water vapor. So it does. This does impact everyone listening to this show right now. Finally, maybe we'll be able to get back to, who knows, maybe we'll be able to buy incandescent light bulbs again, or maybe we'll be able to buy, a shower that, doesn't, when I bought our new home here in Florida, the first thing I did, I had my son-in-law knock out the flow restrictors on the shower. And now it comes out, it's like Niagara Falls. I love it. But before, it just dribbled out. And that's because of these stupid regulations, in this case, not against carbon dioxide, but because Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Los Angeles have a water shortage problem. They imposed a one-size-fits-all water for your faucet, for your shower, for your dishwasher. We have an abundance of water here in Florida and across most of the United States. But yet it's a one size fits all, allowing, restricting what I want to do. So this is a great day for freedom, and it's going to be a great day for being able to buy, freeing up your choice of what you can buy.
Okay, Gregory, I just got a minute or so left here. We're visiting with Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition. Okay, so Administrator Lee Zeldin's going to make this announcement today as well. Is this the end of the line and a victory, or does anything else need to happen to solidify the freedom that's being declared today? I mean, is there anywhere we need to go from here to keep the regulations off of our homes and businesses and cars and everything else?
Well, yeah. This is the beginning of the end, hopefully, maybe the end of the beginning, but this will be litigated. It will likely go to the Supreme Court. One of the things I'm disappointed in this announcement, from what we hear, is that there was no science included in this. It was all legalese. And so we'll all know more here in a couple of hours when the announcement is made. But what we will do at the CO2 Coalition, again, we have nearly 200 of the top scientists in the world, will be filing a comment on this, and we will include the science in that. And then the two important Supreme Court rulings last year require, during analysis, if it goes to the Supreme Court, that they must consider all of the science, not just some of the science. So that things have changed. It's a new day, and it's a good day for America.
All right. Gregory Wrightstone, CO2 Coalition. We find the website where we've already tagged you on our social media, but people want to learn more because there's probably somebody who is hearing this for the first time. Where can they go to get your all's research?
CO2coalition.org. I'd encourage you to go there. I'd just search for Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
It will open your eyes. Look at what's actually going on in the Midwest over the last 130 years. That's what you have to look at. And you'll be amazed. It's not as you're being told at all. They're lying to you every day, every week, every month.
All right.
About climate change.
Gregory, thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And Gabe, can we get that book up on the NewsTalk STL book club?
It's already there.
It's already there. So check that out, newstalkstl.com. Go to News and More, and you can find the NewsTalk STL book club, and you can find Gregory's book right there.
Mm-hmm.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control
It's brand new
it.
year. Tim Jones will tell you about the brand new things happening at The Hideout, famous for the Sunset Patio, 50 big screen TVs, live music and events, a fantastic game room, and of course, the food. The Hideout has a brand new menu featuring their world famous wings, the best handcrafted burgers, new items like the signature Sunset Dip and Dave's Chili, and a second location at Sugar Creek Golf Course in beautiful High Ridge. Experience the Hideout while enjoying a round of golf. Come in for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout, hideoutsportsbar.com, hideoutsportsbar.com. We'll definitely see you there.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, this real quick before we get into this survey thing that I want to talk about here real quick. So this happened. Okay. We know that Jim Cramer over there on CNBC.
Oh yeah, the
business
guy,
network.
That's the guy who when he gives you advice, you're just supposed to do the opposite.
Yeah, he gets a little fired up on stuff, right?
Yeah, occasionally. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this happened. Jim Cramer getting a little too fired up yesterday on CNBC while talking. He's talking about like the Fed and the economy and stuff like that. And his take on it, what he was talking about, isn't quite the point. Check this out. This is actually from CNBC.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut.
What the
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take it right back.
Everybody,
I take it right back.
I take it right back. No, you can't.
I take it right back.
It's just the way
I take it right back. That was bad.
It's cable with a ticker, as Jeff Clayton would say.
I take that back.
That's right.
Real people doing live TV.
No.
Jim, though, to your point, Goldman today, the most notable change.
You can't take it back.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely
Goldman
fine.
today, the most
You want
notable
me to say one?
No, I just feel like
You want me to
with
say
the
one?
the economy's booming.
Let Carl talk.
Oh
now.
my goodness, that was
Let Carl talk now. Oh, they were scrambling hard.
that was on a show called Squawk on the Street on CNBC.
Oh,
And
they were squawking.
that was that was live.
Yeah,
That
it was.
actually happened.
Yeah, it was.
Now here's the funny thing.
I take it back. You can't take it back. It's live. It's gone now.
Now here's the thing: is because it's cable.
Yeah,
that's actually legal.
He's allowed
He
to
can
do
actually,
that.
You can
Like,
actually say that on cable.
He's not going to get an FCC violation.
No.
But it's just hilarious. It's
Oh my
funny.
goodness.
Oh my gosh.
We can't do that.
No.
Hence the beeps.
Yeah.
But the cable news networks try to play by the same rules to prevent the FCC from jumping all over them. But that actually went live. That actually went live.
That's so. I take it back. Take it back.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
I'm sorry. Let me take it right back.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry.
I just
Hey,
had
you want me
put
to say
that
one? It's okay. It's fine.
Right. I love that. I take it back.
He actually said that. You want me to say one? It's fine. You're fine. Go on. It's like, let him talk now. Let him talk.
Trained broadcast professionals
Yes,
right there.
that's hilarious,
Oh my
man.
goodness. I love that. I heard that. I'm like, what just happened? All right. Okay.
We'll do it live.
That's right. 7:51 right now. Okay. Every society has to draw the line somewhere.
Yes.
When it comes to who can do what at specific ages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is one of the other areas where libertarians tend to go crazy and get stuff wrong.
Yeah. I've seen some of the libertarian takes on these things.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of libertarian in me.
But not that libertarian.
Not that libertarian. So, and we have decided in America that we have different ages basically of majority.
Right.
You can drive at this age.
You drive
can-
16.
Right. You can
15-ish.
Yeah, you can enter contracts at 18.
18.
You can, enlist in the military and make career decisions at 18. You can drink at 21.
Right.
I mean, so we've had
You can rent a car without at 25.
Yeah, and that's generally private sector, but that's the rule.
Yeah.
So we've kind of come up with these, and there was a survey done by YouGov. Now YouGov, they have huge numbers of people.
Oh yeah. Their surveys are relatively reliable.
Yeah,
I guess in the as far as surveys go. You know how
Yeah.
we feel about surveys.
So here's some of the things they came up with. Just over half of Americans, 52%. And here's what I'm curious. Do you agree or disagree? You guys, and then let me know on, Facebook comments and Rumble and everything, or 314-912-1019. 52% of Americans say you should have to be older than 16 to be allowed to drive.
Okay. All right. So they're wanting to lift that one.
Yeah. And 58% say
Mhm.
16 is too young to drive, but 52%, most of the people say 16 is too young. Most of them say, yeah, we need to raise the age, whether it's 18 or something else like that.
Right.
So what do you think? Should we raise the age to be able to drive?
Yes.
I'm not sure about that. Okay, so I think part of the problem that we have, regardless of the elements of society, but a lot of the problems we have is we do not raise people to start accepting responsibility at a young enough age. So by the time that they're actually able to exercise their rights or to actually participate in some of the privileges, they don't have the internalized sense of duty and responsibility that comes with it. And so that's why we have so many what would be called man children.
Yes, that's
So
true.
I think raising the age, I mean, maybe making it a little bit stricter to actually get a full-on license, but I think starting driving at a young enough age is going to set you up to be a better driver later on. And if we raise the age, then we're really not giving people any opportunity to develop and grow critical skills.
You know, what was interesting
That's a good
is
point.
my daughter wasn't interested in driving a 16
at
I was
all.
like, whatever, I'll get around to it. It wasn't just a big deal. I think she was 17 when she finally like, yeah, I should probably go get my license. She just didn't care. You know, she and her friends had this, you know, I mean, and I'm like, hey, I couldn't afford the insurance anyway at the time. I was broke working 3 jobs, man. You know, single parent working 3 jobs. So it was interesting that apparently there's a trend younger, you know, kids like when I was upset that I couldn't go get my license on my 16th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a holiday and I wasn't able to do it. I had to wait till the following week to go do it.
Yeah, back in the day, kids were chomping at the bit for it,
chomping
right?
at the
Yeah.
bit, man. Couldn't wait to do it. How about this? Conversely, just over half of Americans, 54%, say there should be a maximum age to drive.
Yes. Are you going to disagree with me on that too?
I'm going to disagree on that one.
Oh.
Yep. I mean, conceivably, it's basically there's a competency test that you have to take periodically once you get
past a certain age,
certain age. So you basically have to go back in and recertify every time. Like I'm trying to remember how it's like. Is it every 2 years?
I think after the age of 70 or
At the age of 70, you have to
kind
kind of recertify your ability to see and actually respond to things like that. So I mean, there's a competency element already built in. So in that regard, it's like, hey, if you're 90 and you're passing all the competency tests, you probably drive better than that 16-year-old.
10% of people say the cutoff should be 90 years old, period. 21% say it should be 80.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to name any names, but he probably knows who I'm talking about right now. If he's listening, good morning. So I know somebody that can pass the competency test.
Yeah.
And yet we still had to force him from not driving because it was an inside thing of here's how his parking job went. Here's what he hit today. But the government said he could drive, but it was clear he should not. So
see, we got lucky in my family. We only had one of my grandparents who lived long enough and was still driving, and she was about 90. And she would only drive in the daytime and only to a couple things close by, would not get on a highway. And she just said,
not at
I'm
night,
older. I don't have the same reflexes. I don't have the same eyesight. I need to drive as little as possible, but I'm keeping my car in case I have to go get something nearby. And then eventually she just said, I can't do this anymore, and handed the keys off to my uncle.
Now that may be a reason to revisit what the competency tests are, because as far as I know, it's really just sight and knowing what the signs are. That's not what driving is. Driving is actually performing the function. So, and with virtual reality, with computer generated environments and things like that, we could do like basically virtual road tests again.
Oh, sure. Let me jump to this one here.
Yeah,
this
please.
is interesting. Drinking age.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you can enlist, as we all know, the cliches. You can enlist in the military and sign a contract, but you can't buy a beer.
Yep.
How about this? 47% say 21's fine. 41% of Americans, 4 out of 10, say that you should be allowed to legally drink younger than 21. 12% say should be older than 21. But 41% of Americans say, I'm assuming they're going to guess 18 or 19 years old, but they say you shouldn't have to wait till 21 to be able to buy alcohol.
Right.
What do you think?
See, I'm of two minds about all of this, this whole conversation, by the way. I think we should set a singular age of majority.
I agree.
Now, whether that is 18 or 25 are the choices in my brain right now. And if I had my druthers, it would be 25 because of our man baby epidemic, but it should be 18 if we were raising kids right.
Yeah, I think that there should be one age. I agree. One age, whatever that age is, it should be one, because this hodgepodge, you're mature enough for this, but not for this. You're mature enough to go fight for our country, but you're not mature enough to have a White Claw. It's just kind of silly to me.
Would you like to win a full season of mosquito and tick protection? Tim Jones here, the new Mosquito Nix team in St. Louis, celebrating their launch with a bite-free backyard sweepstakes. One lucky family will get their entire yard protected. 10 others will get a free fogging treatment just for entering. Call 636-698-1980 now to enter. 636-698-1980. Keep your yard safe and your summer itch-free. Service area restrictions do apply. Mosquito Nix offers permanent, automatic mosquito and tick protection. It's not just fogging, it's real coverage you don't have to think about. They've already helped over 40,000 families nationwide take back their yards with their automatic mosquito control system. Visit mosquitonix.com to learn more. That's mosquitonix.com, 636-698-1980 to enter the backyard sweepstakes. Keep your yard safe, your summer bite free. 636-698-1980.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serving St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Although no motive is given, police say the gunman behind a deadly mass shooting in New York City did have a documented history of mental health issues. The suspect walked into a midtown Manhattan skyscraper last evening and opened fire, killing 4 people and wounding a 5th. Among those killed, NYPD officer 36-year-old Didarul Islam. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says a married father of 2 was an immigrant from Bangladesh.
He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice. Shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero.
The gunman, identified as 27-year-old Shane Tamora of Las Vegas, died of an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound. Among other tenants, the NFL's headquarters, located in the Park Avenue building, was targeted by the gunman. Russia continues its unrelenting attacks on Ukraine. Glide bombs and missiles struck a Ukrainian prison and a medical center overnight, killing at least 27 people.
A Russian hit on a prison in Ukraine's southeastern Zaporizhia region has killed at least 17 inmates and wounded more than 80 others, officials say. While in the Dnipro region, authorities report at least 4 people killed and 8 injured. Russia's kept up its bombardment of civilian areas despite President Donald Trump's threat to soon punish Russia with sanctions and tariffs unless it stops.
Correspondent Charles Della Desma, President Trump says at this point, further talks with Russia's Vladimir Putin would be pointless. Watching Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, Dow futures are up 31 points. NASDAQ futures 96 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
Could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Who needs a vacation? Are you ready for an unforgettable getaway? Start packing your bags because Branson, Missouri, the vacation and entertainment capital of the U.S., is calling your name. For just $99 per person, here's what you get. A full 3-day, 2-night stay in a luxury resort hotel, a delicious full breakfast buffet every morning you're here, and when you call right now, free show tickets worth up to $100. That's right, free show tickets to an award-winning show on us. You don't have to leave the country for an amazing vacation. You can drive or fly to Branson and have an incredible time. Whether you bring in the whole family or just planning a romantic escape, this trip is built for you. We guarantee you'll love Branson. This is not a timeshare. It's just an unbeatable vacation deal for only $99 per person. You book now, you can use your tickets anytime this year. You don't even need to know your travel dates to lock in the special price. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. Call our Branson vacation experts today.
800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. That's 800-547-5331.
Mike Ferguson.
This is the kind of adventure I usually have to force upon us, and here it is, falling into our laps.
Gabe Phifer.
They're buying it.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Watch you cop squat, son.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, justice for Sam Page.
Here's hoping.
We can only hope, but it might happen. Give you the update on that here in just a moment. Who is in charge of how comfortable your house is today? You may say, well, I'll decide that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's me, right?
You probably will, but if you took the bait and voluntarily signed up for a particular program, you're actually going to lose control of your own thermostat for a few hours. So I'm going to give you the basic details on that here in just a couple of minutes. And then 8:20, let's go into more depth on this because there's a little bit of nuance to it. And I think a lot of people today are going to go, oh, I didn't realize that's what was going to happen because it's happening. And also Cardinals fans are among those paying tribute to a longtime Chicago Cub. We're going to talk about that as well. It is 8:06. Let's go and dump some news on you here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is under criminal investigation by the Missouri Attorney General's office. That is according to our news partners at KMOV, which is reporting that the investigation stems from Page's use of taxpayer money to campaign against Proposition B last year. After complaints were filed against Page, the Secretary of State's office referred the case to the Attorney General. Page authorized a campaign postcard opposing that ballot measure. Missouri law explicitly bans any use of taxpayer funds in campaigns. When you look at the facts of the case, there is no question that the law was broken, not just with the postcards being sent out, but as Councilman Mark Harder just let me know a few minutes ago, also about $50,000 worth of postage that was run through the county government meters. So taxpayers paid for that as well.
And possibly the labor to do it.
Right. And so we are looking at tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer expense used to campaign against a proposition on the ballot in clear violation of the law. So the Attorney General's office and the Missouri State Highway Patrol are now investigating it as a criminal matter. We did talk to Councilman Dennis Hancock at 6:35. You can find that on the News Talk STL podcast. The entire 6 o'clock hour is up now. We will have that conversation with Dennis posted here in another couple of hours. Senator Josh Hawley files legislation that would, if approved, send checks to working Americans with those funds coming from the money collected through tariffs. Yeah. Hawley's bill calls for $600 to be sent to every adult and another $600 to be sent for every dependent child in the household. So it's going to be kind of modeled after the stimulus program from years ago, even though this isn't technically a stimulus program because it's not borrowed money. It's money already collected through the taxes.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I've ever been so unexcited about being offered money before.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is not a good thing considering where our national debt is.
Yeah, he calls this the American Worker Rebate Act. The check amounts would be reduced by 5% if the taxpayer's gross income is over $75,000 for an individual or $150,000 in a joint return. And as Gabe just referenced, the U.S. national debt currently an estimated $36.71 trillion as of this morning, according to the debt clock.
Trillion with a T.
With a T. All right. Another lawsuit happening here. California continuing to challenge President Trump in court, filing another lawsuit that accuses the Trump administration of amassing personal information from SNAP recipients' records. SNAP being what we used to call food stamps. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says that the situation of pulling that information violates multiple federal privacy laws. And he says the information is not being used for SNAP benefits.
You don't promise to help someone eat, then punish them for sitting at the table. And California won't comply.
Okay, so that's a spicy sound bite there.
Oh, yeah.
Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, also part of this lawsuit. It is a multi-state lawsuit. And you may say, well, why are they so mad that there's information being combed through? Well, here's part of what's going on, and she tips the hand a little bit.
They are basically trying to weaponize the SNAP program against immigrant communities.
Ah, there it is.
Wait, immigrants?
There it is.
What kind of immigrants?
You saying she might have left the word out there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why you always lying? Why you always lying?
So basically what you've got here is an effort to comb through the information and deny food stamp SNAP benefits to illegal aliens.
Yeah.
That's what this lawsuit is about, is trying to make sure illegal aliens access welfare programs.
Yeah, it's amazing that whenever we have a criteria for a government program and we try to enforce that criteria, Democrats cry foul.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a sec. Well, what's the point of having a criteria if you can't check to make sure only the people who meet the criteria are coming through? I will say this. They have no problem with people checking your income tax return to make sure you high income folks don't qualify for any of these low income people programs, right? Like they're never going to say, hey, that's a misuse of personal information through the IRS in order to validate that. Nobody's saying that because that would be dumb. It's the same kind of dumb here.
Also, keep in mind, under the Biden administration, they wanted banks to flag certain purchases you make with your bank account and your debit card in case you were buying something that they wanted to know about. So this isn't like the government has never asked for something. Now, that was inappropriate then. This makes perfect sense.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Ameren. Okay. Man, people have a lot of thoughts on this. Look at what's happening around the news in St. Louis. We're going to go into more depth on this at 8:20. Okay. Ameren will be taking control of tens of thousands of home thermostats today, maybe yours. The company says 51,000 customers are part of the peak time savings event, which will have their energy usage reduced by Ameren. They're going to reach in and take control of your thermostat between 3 and 6 p.m. in order to reduce the overall demand on the grid. Now, the company is asking if you've already become a part of this program. They're saying, don't touch that thermostat between 3 and 6. We're in charge of that thermostat. That's what you signed up for. But the company will then graciously return the thermostats back to normal and whatever your normal setting is, and you'll resume control after 6 o'clock. Keep in mind, 3 to 6 o'clock, generally the hottest part of the day. And the heat index around parts of St. Louis could reach into the 111 to possibly 114 range once this rain moves through.
Right. So right at the peak of the heat of the day,
Yeah.
your thermostat's going to go off.
Right.
Or
Okay.
your AC is going to stop blowing.
Well, or not as much, or they're going to set it, they if you've got it set at 72, they may set it to 78. They may set it to 80. They may say, man, the grid is really stressed right now. We're going to set it to 85.
Oh,
who knows? I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably some computer program in there, but the bottom line is it's not your choice if you signed up for that program. So let's talk about that at 8:20. Let's go into more depth on that because it is coming up on 8:13 right now. All right, this is interesting. The Pew Research Center is asking Americans about our faith, and what a lot of Americans are saying might surprise you. Here's some of the results.
The latest poll finds a lot of us still identify as Christians. 41% say they are Protestants. However, the next largest faith group is those who have no faith. Atheists, agnostics, and followers of no particular religion now account for 28% of the U.S. population. Rounding out the rest of the nation are Catholics at 19% and all other religions at 10%. People of no faith remain the fastest growing group in the United States. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
So more atheists/agnostics than Catholics in America.
Oh, yeah.
That will surprise a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, based on how our society has been moving, I am not surprised.
Who you're saying, well, who are the ones, who are in that other category? Listen, that's the college girl who tells you she's spiritual, not religious. Whatever the heck that means.
Yep.
Jerome's like, oh, I know her. I know who you're talking about.
I have people in mind that met. Yes.
All right. A couple things in sports here. The Cardinals, man, they cranked up the offense last night, beating the Marlins 7-1 at Busch Stadium. Alec Burleson had a home run in the third inning. He added another RBI later on in the night. Second game of that series starts at 8:45 tonight. Once again, that's going to be on FanDuel. And listen, I typically don't cover Chicago Cubs news, obviously being here in Cardinals Nation, but this one's notable. Listen, he was a worthy opponent. He represented his team. He represented the game of baseball with a lot of class. Hall of Fame second baseman Ryne Sandberg died on Monday at the age of 65. That was after a 1.5 year long battle with cancer.
There's no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my to fight your war. Stop.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. Mike Ferguson. Gabe Phifer. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Oh, hey. You wanna do that now? Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
NewsTalkSTL, the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise, and the Young America's Foundation welcome Steve Forbes to Lindenwood University for an inspiring evening on how free enterprise and entrepreneurship make America great. Discover how free markets and small business drive innovation, prosperity, and opportunity. Thursday, September 18th at Lindenwood University Scheidegger Center for the Arts. And this in-person event is free. Reserve your tickets now at HamlinInstitute.org. Brought to you by Mid-Rivers and West News Magazines.
It's one of baseball's fiercest rivalries, the Cubs versus the Cardinals, and the action returns to Busch Stadium the weekend of August 8th through the 10th. Feel the heat, the history, and the excitement as these two legendary teams battle it out under the summer lights. 3 big games, 2 historic teams, 1 electric atmosphere you won't want to miss. Great seats remain. Secure yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinals, for the Loop.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game, it's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colonies.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal,
Call All Solutions Pest Control.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
And people really are having some strong reactions to this Ameren thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how could you turn the temperature down to 73? I'm afraid I can't do that.
No. I applaud the people. I applaud the people who get the howl reference.
Yes. As if you got that reference, you're my people.
That's right. Okay, so 818 right now, and so here's the thing: is that this was a voluntary program. A lot of people were essentially you were bribed to some degree, but it was a choice.
Oh yeah.
So Ameren, and I don't remember when they first unveiled this program. I remember us talking about it like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did is they said, we're going to give you a free energy efficient thermostat. We'll install it for free.
Smart thermostat. And you can control it from your phone.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're going to give you a bonus for signing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like $50.
Free installation.
Something like that. And then we're going to give you $50 or $75 or something like that per year for staying enrolled in the program.
Right.
And you're like, free thermostat. I don't have to go to Home Depot and get one myself, and they're going to install it and
a little bit of a discount.
Give me money for that. Okay, great.
Yeah, sure.
And the fine print was
we read the fine print on air.
Yeah, the fine print was they get to reach in and take control of your home's comfort when they feel like it
at their discretion.
And we said back then was like, there's going to be a day where they do it, and that's today.
That's today.
So what's happening is Ameren has announced that if you have enrolled in this program, 51,000 of you, at some point between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, your thermostat is going to adjust up.
Yep.
In order to not use as much energy, the trade-off is your home's going to be a little hot and a little sticky,
a little warmer
from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And so some central computer somewhere is going to take over the thermostat in your home. And then starting at 6 o'clock, then it will reset to whatever you had it. And so that's to relieve pressure on the grid. And there's probably some fan of government bureaucracy or some environmentalists like, well, that's exactly what we should be doing.
Yeah.
It's a collective thing.
It should be mandatory in every home.
Everybody should have to do this. You trust the man to do this. You trust the monopoly that the government gave the monopoly to. And the trade-off here is that you gave up control of your home at least for a few hours. And so maybe somebody goes, you know what? I'll save a few bucks. It'll be a little uncomfortable, but
a few hours.
I'll just walk around in my boxer shorts. No big deal. It's just a few hours.
Yeah.
They have access to control your home.
Yes. At any time.
Yes. They decided when they were doing it.
Yes.
You didn't decide when they're doing it, but you gave them the authority to do that.
See, I don't get the appeal of this kind of thing, because I've seen like a lot of these appliances that should have no Wi-Fi connectivity whatsoever. It's like, well, we cannot connect to the Wi-Fi, so now you can't juice this item, or you can't access your washer and dryer.
Crazy.
But
your microwave's down because the internet's on the fritz.
But and I do try to do my little bit of part to try to make sure that the air quality is a little bit cleaner and stuff like that. But I cannot imagine why anybody thought this would be a good idea. If you told me at any point that a company that I am already paying a fee to can then go in and modify my own settings and what I do with what I'm paying for, that just, I don't understand it.
I want dumb everything when it comes to machinery in my home now at this point, because what we're seeing here is the application of everything being connected to a central grid.
Yes.
I mentioned a few hours ago, I said that after we did a big kitchen renovation, how long ago was that, Gabe? About 5 years ago we did that, something like that.
Yeah.
And we did this big kitchen renovation. And then at one point we had problems with this brand new refrigerator.
Yeah. It's on the fritz.
We couldn't believe
I remember you coming in, it was like, just bought this refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's brand new. It's beautiful.
It wasn't cheap.
but it's not
Well,
working.
You've seen it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not cheap.
Mhm.
And the guy comes out to repair it and he goes, "Oh, it's a software thing. You need to upgrade your firmware."
Yeah. You just need to download this
I'm
real
like,
quick.
What does a refrigerator need firmware for? And then he had this layout of how long the doors were open. He goes, "Oh, it was a little open a little longer this time." And this, I'm like, none of your business.
Yeah.
I was putting groceries in there. Why am I explaining to you? It's a refrigerator.
And it's my refrigerator.
It's my refrigerator. Shut up and fix the thing.
Yeah, your refrigerator's telling on you right there.
That's when I realized that it was connected, that it was Wi-Fi. I had no idea.
And it's collecting history and data and all that.
Yeah, the washer dryer that's upstairs also connectable to Wi-Fi. And what they sell that is, well, you can go on your phone and you can listen. I couldn't imagine that I really need to log on to my laundry.
It's like, oh, I forgot to turn it on.
Right.
Like, really?
But where all this goes down the road, and this is what Ameren is implementing here. And again, you can be mad at Ameren if you want, but 51,000 customers voluntarily signed up for this, is that at some point, somebody at the click of a button or the keystroke or an automated AI algorithm, they're going to decide whether or not you need the energy to run that laundry, to whether you need the energy to run that air conditioner. And they're going to decide what's best for the collective by individually picking who gets what when it comes to energy or utility or something like that. And this is just one of those steps towards that.
Centralized digital control is going to be and is, I think, one of the greatest weapons that the commies out there have against American society, because it's, first of all, the convenience factor of it. The fact that they can sell it to you pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, I'm saving. Not only are we paying you to have this connectivity, but I'm actually going to save you money in that 3 to 6 o'clock, because your system isn't going to be running as you know, as long as it would otherwise. And of course, there's the collective benefit of not taxing the grid, and they would sell it like, well, so long as we can keep these peak loads down, and we can keep the graph of power usage as flat as possible, we're not taxing the hardware, and it's going to last longer. So then, when we come back and we ask for money to upgrade the system, it's not going to be as frequent as it currently is. So we're saving you money in the long term too. So they'll definitely be able to sell you that aspect of it too. The next thing that I'm not sure how soon this is going to happen, but centralized control of traffic is the next thing. I can almost guarantee it.
The new cars coming off the assembly lines now, they're connected.
Yeah.
I mean, they're connected. And remember, there was in this part of was it the Inflation Reduction Act? I think one of those Biden era policies that was passed.
It's mandating
They
stuff.
found a kill switch in there.
Yep. They were mandating the creation of a digital wireless kill switch in vehicles for the purpose of law enforcement, I think they said.
Can I put my tinfoil hat back on real quick?
Please do.
Okay.
Hey, mine's already on.
Okay. So I just touching on what you're talking about with the centralization of it. So right now as well, we also are having issues meeting the energy supplies of things like AI and charging stations for electric vehicles.
Yep.
And so it is kind of concerning if this is the model that they're going to be pushing out is, hey, we'll give you a quick incentive so we can control this. And then next thing you know, it's like, well, we need that energy elsewhere. We're going to cut off everybody's heat.
And we've seen that in other parts of the country.
California.
The rolling brownouts and blackouts.
Yeah. And then when it comes to wintertime, so you go to bed, it's nice temperature, you wake up and you're freezing cold. But that's kind of my concern about this as well, is the more people that are willing to do this, at some point, it's no longer going to be, hey, let's dangle the carrot for you. It's going to be, hey, this is by law,
mandatory.
it's mandatory. Right. We need to be able to control your thermostat, your toaster, your coffee
It's just
machine.
one little more baby step.
Yeah.
So this time it's you volunteered for it.
Yeah.
Next time it's going to be, well, you know what? Smart meters and smart thermostats that's what we're going to go ahead and mandate. And it's going to be sold in some energy conservation way. It's going to be sold in. We want to make sure that we don't have those brownouts like we saw in Nevada, like we saw in Colorado, like we saw in New Mexico, like we saw in California. And they're going to sell it. And even Republicans are going to say, you know what? It's not big government. It's just preserving our energy grid. A country that can't, power itself, can't defend itself. And they'll find some way of saying something like that to justify big government, and will be even more centralized. And so those who find the home and keep everything off the connection are going to be the ones who maintain complete autonomy of your home.
Yeah, and in terms of this whole traffic thing, let me scare you a little further with that one. The self-driving capability is going to start showing up in all of these in various vehicles. I mean, as they're developing this right now, there are thousands of self-driving cars that are licensed and that are operating in various metropolitan areas right now under special licensing for tests and things like that. As those algorithms develop, they're going to start showing up in your cars. Right now, you ever see the cars that are advertised like a parking assist, where you do the hands-off thing and they watch it and like, oh, isn't that really cool? Yeah. The next thing is hands-off driving. That's going to be an available thing in a lot of luxury cars. It's going to end up in regular cars. Then self-driving as a rule will be.
You set the GPS. I want to go here. The car drives.
The car drives you there. You read your newspaper. You do your makeup or whatever. And it's going to be super convenient. It's going to be really awesome. Then, like I said, the centralized traffic control. So there's going to be an AI system that will calculate, okay, well, you put in, this is your destination. I'm going to determine the best route possible, and I'm going to integrate that with my knowledge of everybody else's best route possible. So,
which is the technology used in the maps right now.
The technology used in the maps, exactly. And it's going to determine what lane you're in, how fast you're going, and it's all going to be optimized. And people are going to love it, because you don't have to worry about driving. You don't have to worry about this guy cutting you off or anything like that. Traffic deaths will plummet, and everybody will applaud it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to realize that you have zero control over traffic. You can, if you decide to change something, if the computer says, I can't do that, Dave, then that's how it's going to be. And the people with the unconnected cars that have carburetors in them basically are going to be the freest in America.
Yeah. And so, for instance, some of that technology is going to be easy to sell. Okay, guess what? There's an ambulance on the way, a fire truck on the way. We will pull you over to get out of the way.
The entire system.
Well, could argue with that.
You don't even need to pull over. That's the thing. The traffic won't even have to stop or slow down or anything. The AI will be able to adjust all vehicle positions and relative speeds and everything. You won't even notice
until you're not allowed out of your car.
Until somebody decides, hey, I didn't like the purchase you made at that gun store. We're going to lock your doors and drive you to the nearest police station.
That would never happen in America.
Of course not.
No, never. All right, 8:35 here. Should I run the risk of irritating some people?
Do it. Yes. Do it.
Yeah, because I got to tell you, there's some conservatives that I'm irritated with right now. And I think just in the interest of being intellectually consistent, I think I need to speak up on it. And if you agree with me, you disagree with me, let's have that conversation starting at 8:34.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A cross between Socrates and Dirty Harry.
On News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Nasty humidity and hot temperatures still with us today and tomorrow, but then finally the heat wave breaks. Today's high 97, oppressive heat index up to 110, just a 10% chance of a spot storm. Dry and swampy tonight, down to 79. Tomorrow is a day of change, still hot, up to 95, heat index as high as 104, but a cold front rolls in late in the day, brings a chance of rain and storms along with it, and resulting in much cooler weather for Thursday and Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary.
A man and a woman were brutally attacked by a mob in Cincinnati, but if you're wondering why you haven't seen the national coverage, they're white. I'm Tommy Laren. More next.
When I started skiing, I didn't think about setting any records. When I won my first race, I didn't think about how many more I might win. So when I made it to the top of the world, it never crossed my mind to stop. Being the best isn't the same as being your best. There are no shortcuts to the top, so find the people who help get you there. I'm Michaela Schifrin, and that's what Team Stiefel means to me. If you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stiefel, where success meets success.
Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
you watch national news, you likely would never hear about this violent attack in downtown Cincinnati over the weekend. Could it be because the violent mob attacked 2 white people and that doesn't fit the right victim narrative for national news? Still, the footage of the brutal attack is all over social media. The images are graphic and disturbing. For its part, Cincinnati local news did cover it, but after a search of the headlines, I couldn't find any major outlets that reported on the race of the assailants or the victims. Just a man and a woman attacked by people. How do you think this article would have been written and then covered if a mob of white people beat a black couple nearly to death on the street in a viral video? I can tell you this, I think it would have made national news and perhaps a BLM riot. White hate in this country has been normalized and accepted, and that is just plain shameful. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Hi, I'm Helene Tobler, culinary nutritionist at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. Here we do practical wellness. Dr. Randy and I have a common sense approach to healthcare. My passion is helping our members enjoy better nutrition because food is medicine. We approach problems with a lifestyle foundation and cutting-edge medical tool chest. At Body of Health, it's about being your healthiest you. If you want to experience healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Like Ferguson in the morning. We keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
NewsTalkSTL.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's the Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Well, either I just got one of those scam texts or I'm in a lot of trouble with the state of Missouri.
Zoinks.
I know. Well put. I literally in that last information segment, I got this is like the third time I've got this text message. And the Highway Patrol is warning people about this. The Department of Revenue is warning people about this. It says Missouri Department of Motor Vehicles, final notice, enforcement penalties begin on August 1st. Our records show that as of today, you still have an outstanding traffic ticket. I have not had a traffic ticket literally in something like 15 or 18 years. I have not had, it's been forever since I have had one. And if I don't complete payment by July 30th, so tomorrow, they're going to report my violation, suspend my registration, prosecuted, transfer me to a toll booth and charge me a $35. But if I go to this website, I can go ahead and pay online right now. Pay on through the yeah, that's a scam.
How generous of them.
Yeah, it's a scam. And a lot of people are getting these. Don't click on the link and please report the spam.
And to anybody out there that might be a scammer that's listening in right now, I hope Ameren takes over your thermostat.
That's
today.
right. I hope. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I won't say what I hope. Vicky on Rumble says, I received that yesterday. Yep. This is like the third time I've gotten this. And here's the thing. They would not be constantly sending these out if somebody didn't get spooked by this and pay up.
Yeah, that's the big thing about all these sorts of scams. And more, even the ones that seem explicitly obvious of like, I'm not. There are people out there that are still paying for that. And if it wasn't profitable, they wouldn't be doing it.
If they send out 1 million of those, which cost them pennies, if they send out 1 million of those and 100 people give them access to the bank account information, they could come up with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
So beware. And it's just kind of funny that I got that during that last information segment at 8:30. All right, 8:36 going on 8:37 right now here. Okay, so I want to be intellectually consistent on something. And I know that sometimes I rub people the wrong way on that. So I'm trying to be as gentle as I can on this, but I want to be, I want to keep this conversation out there that when we talk about holding people accountable, we've talked about holding a lot of people accountable today. We've talked about holding Sam Page accountable. We've talked about, holding, bureaucrats on the left accountable. We regularly talk about, holding media accountable and things like that. But that needs to extend to our own side. I'm really frustrated and I'm really disappointed in a lot of conservative media right now. And I know I'm not supposed to say that because we are conservative media here, but I just feel like I'd be intellectually inconsistent if I did not point this out. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, some people have been very overt when it comes to the Epstein stuff, because at this point, we clearly have a cover-up. That cover-up now extends into multiple presidential administrations. I don't know anybody who actually believes President Trump when he says it was a hoax, it never happened, none, this is all made. I mean, that's just nonsense. He's talking on both sides of his mouth. Now, that's not to take away from all the stuff that he's accomplishing. But we know there's something there. We don't know what it is, but we know there's something there. And a couple of weeks ago, word got out that the Trump administration reached out to a lot of conservative media and a lot of conservative influencers and said, shut up, stop talking about this, focus on these other things. And to my frustration, an awful lot of those influencers and media outlets said, yes, sir, yes, sir. And they're taking their marching orders from the people in power. And that's why I'm framing it this way. We have been all over every network media. We've been all over social media. We've been all over the cable outlets for taking basically their walking orders from the DNC and the then Biden administration. And we were right then. Here's the thing. Donald Trump's getting a lot of stuff right. When he gets it right, he earns our support.
Yes.
Under no circumstances should any conservative media that pretends to be independent take any sort of instruction from the establishment, from the power, those in power, on what they're going to say or not say or cover. And so I looked late last night and then I looked this morning at coverage of the Epstein because there are updates. Now we've got reporters asking the president out loud, are you considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell? We now know she was given some limited immunity in order to talk to the deputy attorney general and give that testimony. We know there's negotiations coming on. President Trump tried to say, well, I don't know anything about all that. It would be inappropriate for me to say. Well, first of all, I don't know that anybody, even his most ardent supporters, actually believes he doesn't know anything about it. I don't think anybody believes that. But secondly, if the answer is absolutely not, I'm not going to give her a pardon, that is appropriate to say. But he basically said, it's inappropriate for me to say, look at my poll numbers. And that's actually what he did. He goes, look at my poll numbers. They went up since this hoax happened. Okay, so the president can say whatever he wants. And this isn't about President Trump. But I looked at the key conservative media last night and then early today. So unless something's been published in the last 90 minutes, here's what I found. Town Hall, arguably the biggest hub of conservative media, nothing. Hot Air, which is actually owned by Town Hall, nothing. Red State, also owned by Town Hall, they put one article up sometime overnight. But before that, there'd been nothing on anything Epstein for quite a while.
Yeah.
Nothing whatsoever. So that is not integrity, and we are not alternative media when we simply replace the search for truth with our own competing propaganda.
Yes.
That is a lack of integrity. being an echo chamber that takes direction from those in power undermines our cause, undermines the conservative movement, undermines the constitutional movement, and it undermines our credibility. It is short-term thinking. So I do want to give credit where credit's due. Newsmax, they're staying on this story. And they're being fair and they're being objective and they're not trashing anybody, but they're saying, no, this is news. And they are staying on top of that. They continue to cover the situation. And so I just kind of felt we got to a point where with some of the so-called influencers and hosts saying, you know what, some of them even to their credit said, I got a call from the administration. They asked me to stop talking about this. They asked me to dial it back. I trust them. I'm going to move on to other things and I'm not going to talk about this anymore because they asked me to. And I don't think I'm oversimplifying those dynamics. That's what they've said. Others have said, yeah, I got asked that. And no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And that's being in the position that we're in. That's what's kind of unsettling for me. So, for example, even at the government level, there was a post from Paulina Luna.
Yeah.
And it was basically saying this was around the time that President Trump switched from it's all a hoax, it's all you're falling for it, you're dumb to, yeah, we're going to do something about it. And basically said that while others were busy trying to knife the president, this is word for word what you tweeted. While others were busy trying to knife the president, this was quietly in the works behind the scenes. And I can say with full confidence that this is the most transparent administration in history. You're framing us demanding accountability and calling out like, wait a moment, there are previous statements you made, everything around this. You're framing that as us betraying the president and that this was all part of the plan. Just trusted. So it's frustrating because again, I'm not trying to say that if you were not as invested in the Epstein client stuff as I am, that's anything wrong, that we can't still work together, that we still can't celebrate the victories. But that, again, to your point, that was what really was frustrating about going through the Biden administration is that it was clear as day that they were just putting out the talking points in the narrative and they were not doing any fact checking. They were covering things up. We cannot engage in the same thing. We are supposed to be better than that.
We should be. Corporeal Being has an interesting way of framing it. He said essentially a right-wing NPR. Let's not do that. Let's not become that. Listen, do I think that Donald Trump is in those files as a client? No, I don't think that. I think that the left would have published that in every single thing you looked at online. That would have dominated the news. That would have destroyed his campaigning career years ago if he were in there, which is why I don't think he's in there. We know he's in the files. We knew that because we knew he was on the plane a couple of times. Do I think that he's listed as client? I don't believe that. I don't think that Donald Trump is. Do we think that there are a lot of people in very high positions of power in there? I'm convinced now that there are. I don't know who it is. Do I think it's Republican or Democrat? Yes, both.
Yeah. No, they're definitely protecting somebody with this.
There is a protection, and we're being told, stop asking questions. We're being told, stop looking into this. We're being told, stop demanding accountability. Don't you know our side's in charge now? So now we don't do that. We only do that when the other side's in charge. And I'm sorry, I can't go there. If the truth is what matters, if the Constitution's what matters, if equal application of law is what matters, then we have to stay consistent in our pursuit of truth.
It's a bit disheartening, but I really am not a fan of how the attitude right now is. How dare you continue talking about something that we're not supposed to be talking about right now? And that's not why I'm a conservative.
Yeah, and we've got multiple administrations.
Oh yeah.
Now who have this. So, right now, this isn't about targeting any one. It's about saying we were promised the transparency. We're not getting it. And to the credit, there are a number of Republicans who are still saying we demand it. Eric Burleson, Thomas Massey, Bob Onder on this show just a day ago. And so we've got several to say we need to get this done. And I understand it's complicated and sensitive because there are other things that need to be accomplished, but we can do more than one thing at one time. But when it comes to conservative media, I just refuse to be the tribal guy who says, well, it's our side, let's not do a circular firing squad. I'm not trying to do a circular firing squad, but I do think we should have a spotlight that says we're going to be transparent and we're going to be consistent. We're going to be credible. And if we fail, we should be called out for it. Got some thoughts? Agree, disagree? Send me a note. Give me a call. We got a few minutes to wrap it up here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Someone in that control room is out of control.
On News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
After spreading lies about the Russian hoax, the media again lying to bury the evidence that they lied.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
Interesting news overnight that we got last night regarding Sam Page now being under criminal investigation. I mentioned this in the news dump at 8:05. I wanted to follow up on that just in case, frankly, a lot of folks, listening now that maybe weren't around when we talked to Dennis Hancock at 6:35. Which also reminds me that the News Talk STL podcast, we're going to have that discussion with Councilman Dennis Hancock posted here, probably another hour or so, something like that.
Yeah. Give me a few moments after the show.
Right. We'll have that. And then our conversation with Attorney General Andrew Bailey is going to be up. And then our discussion with Gregory Wrightstone from the CO2 Coalition. And by the way, if you missed that, that was actually really fascinating. I mean, I knew it was going to be important, but it was really kind of fascinating when you talk about how much these environmental regulations now run our lives. And we're seeing some of that kind of spilling over into this whole smart meter, smart thermostat, Ameren thing. So there are elements of that in as well. But the EPA is going to make a big announcement today about repealing a bunch of these climate regulations. And so that's what we talked to Gregory about. It is 8:51 right now. Okay, so KMOV is reporting, and we got confirmation from Dennis Hancock a little bit earlier today. The Sam Page is now under criminal investigation from the Missouri Highway Patrol and the Attorney General's office.
Good.
Yes. And I say good partially because I don't like Sam Page, but also because this is actually a step that I don't know that I've really seen very much over the course of my life and career. about holding somebody in power accountable for breaking the law and abusing their office. And that's what we're talking about with Sam Page. I think there's a lot of times when somebody on the other side is under investigation, we're like, yes, get him. Why? Because I don't like him. That's not it. That's not the full story. The full story here is Sam Page has a history of abusing his office, of abusing taxpayers' money, of abusing citizens. And finally, now we have a criminal investigation, and that's different than a civil investigation. Is he going to be charged with a crime? I have no idea. But here's what's going on. We're going back to the Prop B ballot initiative in November. This is the one that proposed that the county council be allowed to fire administrators within the executive's department. So whoever the county executive is, they can appoint a director of this, that, and the other. And if they do a bad enough job, the county council with a super majority would have been able to fire that person. That was put on the ballot. It failed. Unfortunately, it failed, but that's the way it goes. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But here's the thing is right before that election, Sam Page authorized thousands of dollars in taxpayer money directly from the executive's budget to campaign against Proposition B, literally campaign against it.
Which, in more layman's terms, is essentially a government official using taxpayer money to tell taxpayers not to vote for something that would actually increase our ability to hold our government accountable.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly it. And the thing is that Sam Page was free to raise money from his supporters and pay for mailers to go out to voters. He was free to call a press conference and answer questions and ask people to vote no. He's free to do all that stuff. But the law says you can't take taxpayer funds and resources and do it. And we know that at least $5,000 in printing cost to make these campaign postcards. I just got a text from another county councilman. He said, Mike, you forgot. There was about $50,000 worth of postage involved from the county government postage meters that was used to send out these illegal postcards. And this said right on them, paid for by St. Louis County Executive, saying that it came from the government coffers. And that is explicitly illegal. Missouri law couldn't be any more clear about this. This came out and said, this proposition is bad. Here's why you should vote against it. A lot of school districts, a lot of parks and rec departments, a lot of libraries, a lot of other entities, they play fast and loose with some of the rules. Sam Page did not. It is not debatable that he broke the law. And then Dennis Hancock earlier on this show says not only did he break the law, he was told he was about to break the law. He was warned that this was going to break the law. And he did it anyway. This is what happens when people feel that they are above the law, above the Constitution, in this case, above the county charter, and above any ethics or morality, because we just don't hold these people accountable. Well, now what's happening is there's a criminal investigation, and at least there's some hope that we will finally hold somebody accountable. Now, am I going to hold my breath and, plan the party? No, because there's a chance that he may not be, but at least we've got a couple of steps towards that actually happening for once.
Which, again, that's something I think with the way the justice system works, because I know for myself, when we first covered that story, I was like, wow, this is really messed up. And then time goes by and you're like, well, maybe he just got away with it. So the severity of the punishment may not make up for all the things that, we dislike about him. At the same time, though, I think this is a very clear sign, especially, considering this case and with Loaded Dice.
Dice Montgomery.
That essentially we are seeing a return to people being held accountable within the government by our elected representatives. And I think that should at least bring some comfort, even if it's not going to be the tarring and feathering that some of us would like to see.
Well, and then also, by the way, before that, you've got Kimberly Gardner.
Yep. So I do think that is definitely a great sign that we're in the right direction with the people that we are supporting, even though sometimes we're not going to always agree with them. But it's better than nothing. And I mean, if you look at Illinois, for example, again, I'm from the Chicagoland area.
At least Illinois has locked up a couple governors.
They
you
have.
give them, I appreciate that tradition of locking up politicians.
They have, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about that with some of the other
right.
positions and people in St. Louis area. But for the time being, I think that is a great way to restore our confidence and our ability. If we personally cannot vote these people out, at least when they mess up that badly, we have people in that are above them that are looking out for us to bring the hammer down on them.
There's no question, once again, that the law was broken. And if the information that Dennis Hancock has given us firsthand checks out, and I'm sure that it will, you're going to see that not only was he aware, but it was intentional. My hope is that they drop the hammer as hard as they can. Not just because I think Sam Page is a dolt who should not be in office. I think he's a bad human being. Okay. But also this should be a message to every other elected public official in the country. You have access to making decisions about money that's taken from us against our will. You have access to our tax dollars. You have the power of government to regulate and eventually send a police officer to enforce something by force. So that's a lot of power that you get when you're elected to some of these positions. You better believe we plan to hold you accountable for use it. And up until now, we've kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, let him resign. Okay. All's well that ends well. This was a criminal act. Let's treat it as such. I'm very, very happy that Attorney General Andrew Bailey is taking that approach to this.